A paper or building a dam. They are flooding circuits to find who I am. Make a list, write it down in time. Sometimes we need it all, sometimes resign to a world where the center is never aligned. Make a move, take it back, it's mine. Gather raindrops and filling the ocean. I'll take every part of me, take it home and put it together like building a boat. Cheers as the poetry sounds. Time goes the those who drown, carrying myself out. Dream of dreams, tears Find the break, water warm, keep it calm, be afraid to rattle the cage. Take a risk, take a dive, take it down, suddenly surrender, take back everything. From the open shore I will learn to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies. Is it still a sin if I let them in as they sail to calmer tide? I'll awaken what's asleep inside.
Take a breath through the salt and the fog. It's gone by the daylight on. Take a page from the lost sailor's song. Gather pebbles.
I'm feeling the ocean, oh, just a memory, lost in ecstasy. Sights and sounds are forgotten and clear. Ships bells, golden rings, fantasy breaking me. From the open shore I will learn to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies. Is it still a sin if I let them in as they sail to calmer tide? I'll awaken what's asleep inside. From the open shore I have learned to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies. There's a hidden door on the ocean floor. Do these dreams belong to me? If it calls my name, am I awakening?
Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and once again, we are back for some more Arknights, because today, we're gonna be finishing off Path of Life. Hello, hello, Jaden. Hope you've been doing well, too. But anyway, a lot of things has gone on in past few days, because holy fuck, I predicted that there would have been a new trailer for Enfield to come out at the TGAs if it had any chance of releasing in 2025. I was wrong. For 24 hours. Because they didn't show the trailer at the TGAs. They showed it 24 hours later on Twitter. So there's that, more or less. It's more or less confirmed for 2025 because they have to get marketing started at minimum 6 months before release, and they've announced the beta test. I haven't seen the full trailer yet. We're gonna save up an entire stream tomorrow to react. I was supposed to do EX stages tomorrow, but fuck it, no. We're gonna be discussing the beta announcement and all the new details coming with Enfield. LOLO Eggy. Speaking of cinnamon buns, you're just chilling wondering when Arknights EN will announce the Hello Kitty skins. That is right! We have a Sanrio collab! I have completely fallen off Arknights. Aside from just doing and reading the story, doing the gameplay, I haven't even finished up any of my reclamation algorithm. I haven't caught up with any IS. I've stopped doing my SSS for the past half year. But yeah, there is a Sanrio collab coming very soon. A bit more ways to spend money. So we're not gonna be talking about any Enfield related stuff today. We'll save that for tomorrow. But I can talk about the TGAs. The TGAs were probably the best that they've had in the past 10 years, considering it's been going on for 10 years. I had no notes, 9 out of 10. Minus 1 point because they gave Randy Pitchford too much screen time. A lot of people didn't do RA2. It's kind of slop. It's kind of slop or slog. It's a slog. Definitely a slog. I know there's a way to just cheat the rewards, but I feel like playing the game to actually get the rewards. Which means I'm not gonna get any rewards because I'm not playing the game. Congratulations to Balatro for winning Mobile Game of the Year, baby! 1v4'd 4 other huge gacha games. Now, I've only ever watched Balatro because of Northern Lion. But I can tell it's a great game. I wasn't really that invested in it winning anything in the best mobile game space, but I was more invested in all the other gacha games losing. It's not about winning, it's about sending a message that premium games are still great. And also, denying gacha games of their award-win tempos is really funny. No one gets their free award-win 10 pulls. You can imagine the seething from all those communities not getting their free rolls. I saw some complaining. I went to our gacha gaming. They were more like, well, the civil war has ended. In a peaceful way. I don't think there were that many people. I don't know. From what I saw in the most toxic gacha game space, no one was complaining about it. So, let's see. I'ma just grab this. Let's grab this. Okay. Aside from that, Stellar Blade didn't win a single award. Hilarious. Considering the amount of incels that back that game. Not a single award won. Also, lots of new trailers announced at the Game Awards. A lot of games finally getting full-fledged trailers. Witcher 4 finally announced with Ciri becoming the new main character. No surprise to anyone that actually played the Witcher games or read the books. I had to say that because there are a lot of people that obviously did not do that got mad because Ciri was the main character of The Witcher 4. There was Borderlands 4, which I'm always excited about. No one is gonna make me hate that series. I love that series. Borderlands 2 was the first game I ever bought on Steam after pirating it and playing hundreds of hours prior. What else was there? There was that cat MMO AI slot trailer that somehow snuck its way into the Game Awards, but Enfield somehow couldn't get a slot to reveal the trailer that they obviously prepared for the Game Awards. But they didn't get a slot at the show, and they had to release the trailer 24 hours after the show. You had to pick some kind of award for getting dozens of times a year over profit in most of the other games that came out that year. Sometimes it's not about the money, it's about the craft, which is why Astrobot winning was, It was spicy. It made Twitter very spicy because Sony shut down Sony Japan. There are Sony Japan studios, and the surviving developers that didn't get cut made Astrobot, and now won Game of the Year. Tell that to Ubisoft. I have no real animosity towards Ubisoft, actually. I've loved their RPG Assassin's Creed games. They know how to make one game, one open world RPG game, and they've kept doing that for 10 years. And I'm like, okay, if it makes you money, sure, why not? I don't have real animosity towards them, because Odyssey and Origins were some of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to grab these. There's a new Neil Druckmann game. It's had so much promise. Naughty Dog making a new space game, new sci-fi game, and then they had to announce Neil Druckmann's directing it. Oh my god, that weirdo ass Zionist. It had so much promise. And of course, the weirdest people online hate it for a different reason. And I think that is everything. Okay, what other announcements did they have for the Game Awards? Oh yeah, at the very start, Slay the Spire 2, baby! Oh my god! I can't wait for Slay the Spire 2. Hold it, let's just grab these. There were so many announcements. It was definitely one of the all-time Game Awards. With 1 point deducted because Randy Pitchford had to steal some screen time. I'm just gonna grab my credits, don't mind me. The awards are beginning to blur in my mind. Best action game was Wukong. Best writing was Metaphor. Best narrative, Metaphor ReFantagio. I still gotta find the time to start our Metaphor streams. Starting an Atlas Persona game is a huge commitment. When we played Persona 3, it took 3 whole weeks every day back to back to finish that game. So I gotta slot in somewhere to find some time to play Metaphor on stream. So can't wait for that. Also, apparently it's pretty political as well. So the FromSoft community is half and half celebrating, half and half ready to video game themselves, because Night Rain, the leak of Night Rain, is actually Elden Ring co-op and not a new Armored Core DLC. No! Fuck! We thought Night Rain was Armored Core. It's Elden Ring. Alas. And I think that is that. Did I pick up my modules for the month? Yep. Ever since I started adding 4 free modules in the Red Search shop, I've just been grabbing them at the start of every month, because this is practically mandatory if you want to upgrade any modules at all. Okay, so that's that. That's with housekeeping. I have 1 day to use these sanity. I was supposed to do EX stages tomorrow, but I don't know. I'm gonna find some time to actually do EX stages on my own, I guess. But today, we will be continuing and finishing Path of Life. A recap of everything that's happened so far. Abyssal Hunters return to Millennium. The supposed closest city of the Aegir heading towards land. They've had radio silence from the home territory. Something tells me this is gonna be this might be the last Aegirian city, if the rest have already been devoured by the Seaborn. But aside from that, we found out who was behind everything. It was Blandis, grandpappy of the Abyssal Hunters. Somewhere along the line, after the Abyssal Hunters died 5 years ago, he lost his mind. He was like, if we can't beat the Seaborn, why don't we just join them? Why don't we just live alongside the Seaborn? And then he died. He died on the floor. Didn't even need to get killed. He just died on his own. But he left a little present first in that the Seaborn are now infiltrating the city. They're headed towards Millennium, and he left a path of life open to them. Ha ha ha! Not funny, Hypergriff. So there's that. The Abyssal Hunters, the 3 Abyssal Hunters, minus Ulpianus, are outside in the nest. They activated the Class 4 weaponry. Blandis messed their auto-adaptive junctions, so they're getting sleepy in combat. Will they make it back in time? The Seaborn are evolving. Ulpapi and Lumen are right at the beacon tower, where the Seaborn are being called in. Millennium is under threat. The city might not survive this day. Meanwhile, the doctor is like, where's the doctor? Where's the doctor? And Irini. So there's that. Apocalypse scenario. Apocalypse scenario. Doomsday scenario. Code Red. Seaborn are about to swarm the city. So that's a recap. Where did we stop last time? BP-ST-3. Okay. So we have 4 chapters saved up to date. Here we go. Story. From history. And so the forefather passed into history, from whence came the Seaborn, and for the first time his teachings were understood. Let's just get rid of cursor. Hide cursor. There we go. Ooh, spooky. Hold up. I accidentally clicked. I was supposed to adjust. Okay, there we go. There are always chimes like little bells resounding from the dome, the result of countless tentacle-shaped biomonitors analyzing the most minute changes in the ocean current. Occasional dull roars echo faintly from the port, as warships coming to and from the harbor gracefully displace vast amounts of seawater like gigantic fins. This is very ominous. The goods, flying through aerial optic cables and squeezed tape to every household, emit a nearby subsonic buzzing. These myriad noises, varied yet not chaotic, have become the ambience of Millennium, long since faded into the background for its 10,000 or so residents. But now, all those residents stop in their paces. They wonder if their ears are deceiving them. Okay. The Seaborn track is playing. At first, it was like a wisp of wind sweeping across an angular reef. Then, like a newborn who tentatively poked its head out of a warm moon. And after that, a colony, a nest, an entire region of sea. Uh-oh. Whoa, what is going on? What? The thick, bizarre sound of blooming of life could be heard clearly. Well, this is bad. The children of the sea now give back to the ocean. They give civilization a kiss, and civilization is now filled to the brim with life. Red alert! Look! The usual tower looming over the city center is gone, replaced by an enormous stone column, the type seen only in karst caves in the sea. Layer upon layer of fine, porous, slimy, and smooth seaborne tissue encircle the walls of the beacon tower. Yet light from the equipment within still permeates, casting an ethereally enchanting glow over its surroundings. Microbial colonies float down from the column, blossoming into oddly shaped life forms. If it weren't for the statues that I could just barely make out, I'd have thought that these were untouched wilds. Nest conversion. Why would there be Seaborn in the city? I know we haven't... Uh-oh. I hear Scotty singing in the background? Doesn't matter if we did or not, as long as the results are as expected. I just hope it's a lesson those ever-sinking Ager will never forget. What do we do now? We keep it growing and stop the city from pushing it back. Cultists, stop! I thought we dealt with you! Was murdering Tulia not enough? Do you need to destroy the entire city to sate your appetite for chaos? first I was planning to tail you back to your allies and save myself some effort.
Secunda!
But since it's an emergency, I'll have to haul my net in now. You will be my 33rd and 34th Church of the Deep cultist caught by the Sea Patrol this month. The Sea Patrol? You've harmed a lot of our brothers and sisters lately. Clinging to the current order will do you no good. What Ager needs isn't a struggle for its life in despair, it's... Cease! Heresy! Shut up. I'm not here to debate.
Prefecta Segunda! An unusual concentration of biosignatures has been detected. They've tripled in number in a short time. It seems the Seaborn have fully converted the tower into their nest and are now steadily producing more of themselves.
Cannot allow them to spread to the other city units. The nearby civilians have already started evacuating by themselves. Take a squad to guide them to the emergency shelters. Remember to clear the roads of all support machines. If the Seaborn contaminate them, they could be used as weapons against us. The rest of you get in formation and deploy barriers. Keep the Seaborn within the perimeter of the beacon tower.
Yes, ma'am!
I was sure the Class 4 weapons had already been activated. Don't tell me. Yeah, about that.
Plan this!
I'm listening. Lock down all Class 4 weapons at once. I want a thorough inspection of the entire system as soon as possible. All troops have fallen back, regroup at the port immediately. From now on, all combatants are to remain on standby in the channel. Well, this is bad. This isn't what you described. Oh, Doctor, at least we're with Consul Clementia. Is this not part of the plan? Look at this real-time nautical chart. Just an hour ago, seaborne biosignatures were generally stable. But now, every nest on the continental shelf is getting closer and closer to each other. No, it's not that the nests are moving. They're expanding endlessly. Oh, that's very bad. That's very bad! Wait, how do we survive this? A firstborn is gonna awaken? Question mark? Like countless drops of ink spreading across a sheet of paper. This entire stretch of sea is turning into a nest. The scattered nests are linking together as one, with Millennium in the middle. Did Ager really bring weapons to disperse them, Madame Consul, or a mass of catalysts? Are you annihilating them or feeding them? Madame? Consul? If Blandis tampered with the link between the beacons and the weapons, it must have been him who altered the effect as well. Wow, that's convenient. Blandis is a convenient scapegoat considering he's no longer alive to plead his case. And as a result, Ager's hopes of landfall have been exploited. The city's now a foothold for seaborne expansion. This is bad. As the Waterway Program's chief designer of warfare, I will take full responsibility for this. We haven't lost the battle quite yet. Look outside. Not a hint of disturbance on the streets. Millennium has not sunk yet into panic. We've struggled against the seaboard for more than 200 years. We've experienced countless incidents like this. It's far too early to declare Millennium lost to the enemy. Dr. Kelsey, Doctor, you must leave the city at once. I'll escort you to port. I had assumed the consul would need to remain at her post. As things stand, the port is the heart of the city, a key military installation that we cannot afford to lose. The Seaborn have already invaded my city. You think I'll wait for our uninvited guests to knock on the Pensivarium's door?
No, man!
Gah! The air's getting more humid the further I go. I can barely breathe. Watch your step. Use your device to float over. Don't step on that. Nethersea brand? Indeed. Yet another means for the Seaborn to extend their reach. They've already spread to the top of the tower to here, much faster than you see on land. The Seaborn are nesting in the city. Above our very heads. You said there was someone directing them. Why? How? This is the work of that dead man, Blandis. He spent the last 5 years on this. According to his farcical plans, the signals emitted by the tower would, along with the weapons we brought, become a bridge connecting the humanity, the Seaborn. He has indeed built a bridge of sorts. The Seaborn have not reciprocated his ambitious goodwill. Our connection is only severed to serve to alert the beast to Millennium's position and given them an understanding of our defense mechanisms. The legions had taken great pains to divide this stretch of sea into manageable regions, but with the nest now converging on the signal, they are whole once more. Class 4 weapons that should have destroyed the nest and repelled the Seaborn have done the exact opposite. Seaborn tissues grow along their firing paths. What should have withered was instead nourished. That's bad. Very bad. Even until death, he never realized his own arrogance. Senor Ulpianus, I don't quite understand what you're saying, but right now, the Seaborn already consider this tower a new nest. It will steadily spawn and attract more from other nests to gather here. Can we reverse the change? It's too late. We have only one option. Eject the city unit the beacon tower stands on. Eject? But underwater cities aren't built in blocks. How would you? There's still much you do not understand about Aegir. Unlike the nomadic cities on land pieced together from cumbersome plates, Aegir technology focuses on the biological, especially when it comes to city construction. Biting off a poison limb is an instinctual reaction in sea beasts, nothing more. We must keep the remainder of the city for it still has use. Otherwise, the Seaborn in the area will eventually unite into one. No one would be able to stop them then. They'll come ashore without a hint of resistance. They'll land in Iberia. What do we have to do exactly? Massive yet precise framework supports each city unit in Millennium. The operation unit controlling the linkage of the tower unit should be in this control center. Once activated, it will send the entire tower into the depths. Oh? Okay! Aegir, way too advanced to be brought down now. Hold up. Let me take a sip of my water. Millennium will not fall. We have contingencies upon contingencies, except for Blandis, though. No one saw that coming. Is this it? I can operate it, but there's no response. It doesn't seem like there's any issue with the system, so it must be the linkage itself. Slowly and slowly throughout this entire chapter, I just gave Lumen... I gave Lumen what's-his-face voice from Dawn Trail. Aaronville. I gave him Aaronville's accent! The Institute of Facility Management has specialists dedicated to the maintenance of the framework. It is less likely to malfunction than a hunter's weapon is to rust. And yet here we are, precisely at a time like this. Reading error occurred. Run fault diagnostics. Do you need any of my help, Mr. Avitus? Oh no, I was merely observing this abandoned little handy. Could he know something about this? I might know who to look for. Contact the Aegir soldiers outside. They'll help you exit this place. Are you going to stay here, alone? You still have doubts about me, young one? Good. But someone needs to stay in this control center. Once the tower completes its conversion, Millennium will be unable to eject it, even if we manage to repair the linkage. The sea beast cannot spit out its heart, but when its heart is no longer its own. I must remain to confirm that the framework has resumed operation, then eject the tower myself. You gonna be okay? I think he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be fine. It's an Abyssal Hunter. But if you do that, you'll sink along with it into the hordes of the Seaborn. You needn't worry about that. Or do you mean to say you're more suited for that duty? No, you're right. You don't have much time, young one. You have already. Isn't this a frequency of the beacon tower? Who's speaking? Secunda, Sea Patrol, who's inside that tower? Then what about Blandis? He's dead. Two of us were in contact, but I never noticed anything unusual. I should submit myself to the consul for discipline once this is settled. Bro! We have bigger things going on! Valerium must abandon the tower. I must see it sink into the abyss with my own eyes. And after that, will you return to Aegir? Can you return to Aegir? I told you not to ask pointless questions, Segunda. You should not allow the past to render you indecisive. You're overthinking things. Blandis told me what happened back then. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter which one of you rejected my application. Though I'm willing to admit that I regret not becoming a hunter and fighting alongside you all, deeply. I'll admit that I felt anger and resentment for a long time. I even envied Scotty. But eventually I became accustomed to patrol work, for your sake, for the sake of the project keeping our home, our civilization safe. Staying outside of a specific project will allow you to see more sacrifices, more betrayals, more untrustworthy people, more things deviating from their paths. Like you, right now. Maybe. Kinda had him there, caught! You caught him! Have you thought through what you should bear? If you truly did betray Aegir, if you really are associated with that scum, then you're in that tower now to plan your escape. I'd bear the guilt of allowing a fallen Aegir to flee. If you're still a hunter, then you'll be fighting alone. However, it's already impossible to wipe your slate clean after infiltrating the city, breaking into the tower, not to mention the outcome of the tribunal. Aegir may not remember your sacrifice, just like how Tulia will inevitably be forgotten. But I agree, ejecting the tower is the most effective way to help Milarium respond to this disaster. I approve of your choice. I'll afford you some limited amount of trust. Farewell. You have 5 minutes. After that, I'll come rescue that land dweller from the tower.
Gotta rescue Lumen! He's not built for this!
The entire city is following the emergency transportation coordination plan. We'll enter the axial channel via the Safon Theatrum and leave for the port. I'll remain here to direct operations while the Sea Patrol takes command of this ship and sees you to dry land. The drone Matrix will also head to the lighthouse and assist Iberia in mounting a defense. Should the city not organize an evacuation of its citizens as well? Milarium is a military fortress. It is able to accommodate its citizens during battle. All citizens have already been escorted to shelter by the Sea Patrol. Those cables by your hand, what do they do? Should they be twitching like that? No. With communications down, my connection to the ship's operating system has been cut off. I'm losing control. Little Handy, run diagnostics on the entire ship. Systems breach is more serious than I expected. You might not have enough time to land. I'm sorry. At least the city's artificial gravity is still functional. The devices you have will help you move freely through the air. What do you mean we're gonna crash? Now follow me. No need to be scared. All you have to do is walk out the door. She's very calm about all of this. We are in DEFCON 5! Comms are still down. Looks like someone managed to cut off the entire Safon Theatrum from the outside. I hear slithering in the background. Monster! Monster spread its ebon talons as the wave of heat washes over you. At nearly the same time, the consul draws her ceremonial sword and steps to the side, decide to cover you and Kelsey. You take a good look at the enemy before you. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh! Is this the boss? Well, that's less of a biblically accurate seaborn and more of an actual humanoid person. Wait, what are they wearing? Are those glasses? Who's this? Glasses? Is this Tulia? Wait, whose glasses are those? An unusually shaped seaborn bars your way. Where's Mizuki when we need him? Seemed to lack hostility before Monster's roar startled it. It simply stood there quietly, its featureless face illuminated by the coral-shaped terminal in the middle of the Savon Theatrum. I think it's gonna be a bad idea if we let the Seaborn access a whole millennia's worth of human history. It would learn way too much. Let's try to get this thing away from the terminal. Granule organelles surrounding its body spread out like arms, stroking the branches of the terminal. What? Infusing with the following characters and symbols on. Oh no. Okay, that's bad. Was it observing? Sensing? Can it even comprehend human perception and reasoning? Who were you? It turns towards you. A Seaborn. Is it the one that breached the terminal? This is unprecedented and not a good sign. What the fuck? Wait. Is this Blandis? No, wait. Blandis, he also had glasses. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's Blandis. There is no injustice here, only the path ahead. A Seaborn trespassing in an Aegirian city, reciting an ancient proverb in a sanctum designed by sages past. This might be the most ironic scene I've witnessed since I joined this war, uncouth even for a provocation. Its use of language and its manner of speaking are all unlike the usual outcome of the Seaborn's forced learning. I fear the Seaborn was once human, Madame Consul. Language. Never have I forgotten it. Never has it abandoned me. Oh, this is chills, dog. Chills! What about your thoughts? Do you actually comprehend yourself when you clumsily mimic the sayings of the wise? Comprehend? No, I did not understand their true meaning, even as I was left for posterity. Now, I have a new understanding. Left for posterity? Martis! No fucking shot! Martis, the great sage? The great nerd that they kept talking about and glazing in the first part of this event? Martis, the guy who designed the Savon Theatrum? You're Martis? The key member of the 4th Observation Team of the Mantle Ruins, the scholar of anthropology and prehistoric civilization who went missing more than 2 centuries ago, that Martis? Thanks for the reminder, game. This is the most reminder I've ever seen of any reminders. In case you forgot who Martis was, I didn't forget, obviously. I pay attention. In my most distant memories, I was once known by that name. But now, you need only be cognizant of my appearance. You see before you a Seaborn. Call me as such. Seaborn. The Seaborn floats towards you. Me? Why me, specifically? Through its transparent skull, you see strangely colored orbs gather and disperse, steadily changing their formation. Ager, allow me to converse with the one behind you. Oh. Oh. He knows. It knows about Oracle. It knows about the Doctor. Blub,
Tell your little friend to stow its fangs. Its flames cannot burn my blood. AMA 10. It knows! How much does he know?
Who are you? Why did you call Kelsey that? You know who Kelsey is. Stay vigilant, Doctor. I'll speak with it.
Kelsey, I see it now. If you are accustomed to that name, I can call you by that. I have waited for you, Kelsey, for the two of you, for a very long time.
Suddenly, we're getting more lore bombs in the middle of all this. I thought we were done with the ancient shit. Nope! So, what do you know, old wise and tentacly one?
Long have you walked the land, Kelsey. The changes in the sky would not have escaped your attention.
The Seaborn raises its head slightly, gazing up with its non-existent eyes. Perhaps a habit from time it still had them. Above the dome, beyond the infinite water, something in the distance seems to have caught its attention.
Tell me, how long will it take for the hole to close again?
I see. Ager was right. The Seaborn had a clear reason for leaving the ocean and invading the land. He came because he noticed a change in the barrier. I mean, we called it from the very beginning. We called it since day one. Kirsten! Kirsten was the domino effect to the Seaborn looking up in the sky and being like, oh, wait. Fuck the sea. What if we head to the sky? What if we head to space? What if we head to land? Everything has been Kristen's fault. Ever since Lone Trail.
I have seen through the eyes of we many who have ventured on land. There is a ripple in the sky. The immutable veil has been torn open.
Your survival instincts have driven you to monitor every change in the environment and dangers they signify.
Dangers? Yes. You are indeed sharp, Kelsey. Your program runs smoothly.
What did you mean by that?
Our communication will be effective. The calamity that hangs above Terra, the eye that gazes upon us, does it see the abnormality in the sky? Or has it already?
Hey, yo? What do you mean by that? What do you mean, calamity that hangs above Terra? What do you mean, the eye that gazes upon us? There's something watching Terra?
You understand Terra, Kelsey, and the crisis it faces. You can, you must help we many understand. Help we many evolve.
Brother, Rhodes Island came to eliminate you. Actually, did we come here to do that? I came here for a vacation. Am I hearing this correctly? I sincerely hope this is the Seaborn's wishful thinking, rather than some kind of consensus you have, Dr. Kelsey. Let it finish, Madame Consul. Hold up, it's cooking. Hold up! It might be cooking.
The last chance is fleeting. The oceans of Terra are too small. Knowledge, nourishment, space. We must grow. We many require help.
You want to go to space? I mean, that would involve first taking over the land. The problem with that is, all our favorite characters live on land.
Growing wings is not difficult, but insufficient. Going beyond the skies requires a revolution in the species' fundamental nature. You have this knowledge, Kelsey. You help we many understand, and we overcome calamity.
Was this a trap all along? Did they want Kelsey to come to the Millennium?
Whatever their origin, the Seaborn are non-sapient creatures driven by instinct, ones that the church fanatics have placed their unreasonable expectations on. But you know far more than either of those two groups possibly could. How? We are the same, Kelsey. You and we many have the same duty.
Oh! Are we finally gonna get an explanation to what the Kerula Arbor is? The Kerula Arbor, which was mentioned by Oracle in Babel as being part of some ancient program?
Perhaps I should reframe the question. How did the Seaborn evolve into what they are today? What do you have to do with Kerula Arbor going out of control?
There we go, baby! Name drop!
Is the answer important to you? I can speak of my own history if it helps you understand my intention. We've waited 2 centuries for these answers. What really happened in that failed expedition? What turned you into what you are now? Failed? No, it was a success beyond our wildest dreams.
Oh, the big eye in his head opened up.
We penetrated the deepest layer of the mantle ruins for the first time. The predecessors carved open the rock and built massive maze-like complexes reaching into the lower mantle. We've never gone farther than them, even after thousands of years of excavating. The mantle ruins, the genesis of Aegir civilization. We thought we'd find more relics, more secrets, more answers there. But all we had hoped for did not exist. All that was buried in those depths was a spark of hope.
Go on.
I was separated from my team along the way. I was the only one to make it to the end of the path. There, I saw...
Oh shit. This is the CG that we saw in PV4, which was obviously Seaborn, but we didn't recognize that it was also ancient. Why is there a giant, firstborn looking ass Leviathan thing deep within an ancient's ruin?
A giant. Some massive thing sleeping in the shadow of the cerulean tree. I did not see his entirely. A small part of his limb was enough to fill my entire vision.
This is some Lovecraftian Cthulhu type bullshit. It came from the deep. It's Cthulhu basically. Wow, this is so much bigger than Scotty. It's like, what? Is this what Scotty is eventually gonna turn into in the Apocalypse timeline? We did have a glimpse of her Leviathan form.
That limb was touching the transparent wall of a sealed chamber. Perhaps he was waiting for contact, or perhaps... Before I realized it, I was standing before him, reaching out. The wall of the chamber was cold, but I could feel his warmth.
Hiccups. I have the hiccups. This big firstborn god thing gave me the hiccups.
Then visions surged towards me from every direction, inundating me. A Faranet shared its vision with you. What did you see?
Oh! Not a firstborn, not a seaborn, but a Farenmit. Interesting. Are you perhaps related to Alive Until Sunset?
Fallen cities under an oppressively hanging dome. The land aflame, the Stargate extinguished, the star ring broken, the road network shattered.
Hey, yo! Whoa, 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 whoa! Is this how the ancient civilization crumbled? Wait, star ring broken. That's a scene we saw in PV4. With all the space debris up there in space where no one is supposedly supposed to be. No Terran is supposedly supposed to be. Aside from the ancients. The destruction of prehistoric civilization. Yes, Kelsey. We know. We found out. We put 2 and 2 together.
Yes, Ager never discovered the reason for its destruction, but I saw a vision of it before my eyes. Yet, it was not the end. Visions continued to flow, visions far beyond my limited comprehension. Eternally dispersing particles and oceans of sand that never ripple. Cold, lightless plains and darkness without end. Burnt out stars and ever-expanding black holes. Nothing there was familiar. I lost my senses, all of them, and even the Farenmit that shared its vision with me could not sense his own existence. It was an entirely alien place, without life, meaning, or information. The Seaborn's words stop. Through its transparent skull, you could see the strangely colored nuclei gather, then disperse. It seems to be thinking, and then the nuclei represent the process of its thoughts. But you, Kelsey, understand the meaning of those images.
The crisis destroyed everything. It cannot be visualized. There's no word in our language to describe it.
It was the end of prehistoric civilization, and the calamity that Terra must face. It is the end of all things. The horrifying images left me as I pulled my hand back, replaced by another image, one that was broken, blurred, chaotic. He and his children shall devour all that is living, and consume the moons and the stars. All that is living and dead shall nourish him, and he shall murmur at the end of time. Survive.
Well, fuck. Fuck me, that's the same code word that was given to Kelsey. That is her core programming. Survive. The survival of the land.
Over and over, survive.
Chaotic. Murmur. Was the Farenmit asleep?
He was trapped within the dream. The dream stagnated. Evolution stagnated. Duty stagnated. He was trapped in the cerulean cave. Therefore, I must awaken him.
So, this is the firstborn that Ulpapi learned of. But as far as we know, well, until now, the firstborn Leviathans and the Farenmits were supposedly 2 different beings. 2 different kinds of beings. But apparently we're learning now that everything, the Seaborn? The firstborn, whenever we're gonna call his ass Cthulhu, is a Farenmit. They're referring to it as a Farenmit, not as a Leviathan, not as a firstborn, it's just a Farenmit. Where are the Sui siblings when we need them? Where is Alive Until Sunset? Where are they? Those cowards, they fled the sea. Because they were too scared of this thing. Actually, wait. They were specifically scared of this thing. That's why they were driven out of the sea. Oh. Putting two and two together, this was a big Fahrenheit thing that scared Alive Until Sunset out of the sea. Ooh, okay.
Cassia! Magister of Vetus? Did you and your comrades go into hiding in order to destroy the city from within? Waiting for when the Sea Patrol's guard was at its weakest? You should be evacuating, Magister. The Sea Patrol has noticed, Cassia. They're investigating you. You're showing this much concern for me because that tiny embryo I left in the incubator reminded you of the past, am I right? I'm just curious. Do you regret your decision? Now is not the time for this! The Seaborn have invaded Millennium. Stop what you're doing or the city will be lost! Isn't it a little too late for that? Why did you choose to betray Aegir? I told you. The Seaborn have revealed the weakness of Aegir's very foundation. Before people can regain the will to live, the collapse of their values will have them crushed already. Once you were a great scholar, but what are you doing in the city now? You found out about me a long time ago, didn't you? You had many chances to stop things from getting to this point. You could have reported me to the Sea Patrol at any time. But you did nothing. You sat and waited, watching everything happen like a blind fin spinning in a whirlpool. Did you come to Millennium just to witness destruction and validate your own despair? I can still stop you. As long as life remains tied to any value system, it is doomed to eventually collapse. Life itself should be reason enough to live. We must rekindle our most basic survival instincts and force the people to reassess the values they once held in such high regard. Only by doing so can they be saved from despair, from becoming like you. Like me.
Watch out! Who's this? Lumen! Okay. No time for talk. Action!
Cassia got away. The linkage here was sabotaged. No wonder it didn't work from the control room.
Leave this to me, ma'am.
Seaborn are approaching. My mentor at the Inquisition taught me some arts, although my talents are nothing to write home about. That woman worked at the Institute of Facility Management. She'd know how to sabotage the city unit framework. I appreciate your courage, Jordy. I'll call in people to get this area under control. As for Cassia, she's mine.
Okay. Flap, flap, flap. Flap, flap, flap.
Whoa! Already? Are you going to keep lying there, Mr. Vetus?
His student had vanished. Avita's gaze is upon the young man who suddenly appeared before him. The fear in Jordy's eyes is obvious, but he lights his lantern with a trembling hand. Jordy!
Jordy, I heard your conversation. You're not an evil man, but I am disappointed in you. Very disappointed. Did you come here with this city because you believed it wouldn't make it back? What are you hoping for? Death? You should have returned to land sooner, Jordy. Look around us. The Seaborn will soon overcome the barrier between the city's units. It will all come to an end just like... You never answer my questions properly. I may end up leaving Aegir and leaving behind all my hopes and longings, but it won't be because it's about to be destroyed. I've read The Death of Life, you know, but it didn't answer any of my questions. Let's say all your predictions come true, and that at some point in the future we'll all have no choice but to watch our homes come to an end. It depicts, just like that man in the book. But does the destruction of a civilization really weigh more than that of a city, a family, or a person here and now? I don't understand. I just don't. I wasn't sure if I should say this, but... You said your loved one gave up on the idea of raising a child and died in disappointment. But she was disappointed in the future of Ager, or in you.
You caught him! Jordy read him to rights. Young Ager musters all his strength. The lantern shakes violently in the flicker light. I'm gonna cry for Jordy. The flicker light repels the Seaborn. Jordy! He's just a small bean! Leave him alone! He gasps for air. Sweat rolls down his cheeks. Avitus can see his arms tremble, but if anything, it is himself who cuts a sorrier figure. He's so brave! Irini, where are you? Look out!
You have smeared your bodies on the outer wall, infiltrating through the trail of weapon fire before reshaping. What a convenient form of life. Seaborn. I don't know how Seaborn speak.
This one can't speak at all. Meanwhile, what's-his-face Martis is like, yap, 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 yap. Can't you be like normal Seaborn Martis and be like... Never mind, this one can speak too. My bad! My bad for thinking that all Seaborn were illiterate. Nope, they're evolving. Caught! You caught me. You here. Nest, we seen. From Nest, you leave. Incomprehension. Ulpianus, kin, you here. Wait us. Ulpianus, Ulpianus. No confusion. No small talk. No need pain. Individual death, eternal. The many survival, eternal. Ulpianus, I lead you. New individual, born for you. Help you extend me. Are all Seaborn yappers now? Just because you guys develop vocal cords doesn't mean you should be yapping. Yapping is a privilege.
Gladia.
Also, Gladia's here.
Ulpianus.
There is no expression on Gladia's face. She holds her lance sideways, its point touching the floor. Well, all the Abyss Hunters are back. An almost imperceptible posture, enough to mitigate the fatigue that continues to rush up from within her, and to support her as she stands before her long-absent colleague. Your friend is now a pool of goo, but you still need to answer its question. Such rowdiness. This is really poor dance etiquette, you know. Ha! Dance is an art. It's all about elegance. You can't make it worth with strength of numbers. What? That didn't pierce it. This used to be a cluster of coral changed by the Seaborn, but now it's a wall. No one knows how thick it is. The warning from the city, the unusual movements of the Seaborn, the results of the abnormal surgery. We must get out of here and find out what's happening at Nalarium. The entrance is gone? No, it's us. We're losing our sense of direction. Capsidation. Everything around us is hardening. The algal blanket, the unhatched eggs, even the waves. This entire nest will become a hardened shell for these creatures to store their nutrients. A shell without a single crack. There's no way the three of us can. Even worse, the stagnating environment is exacerbating our exhaustion. Captain Gladia? Shark? Behind you! Hums gently. Ew. Nest, become a whole. Soon the sea. You kin, no harm. Well, at least we found out how they got out safely. We many accept you. We many protect you.
Here, much nutrient. Sleep, only sleep.
Oh hell no, they're gonna baby bird our abyssal hunters. The lethargy which had here therefore been suppressed by the fighting begins to spread through every limb and organ. The thick and hard shell solidifies the waves. All is stagnant. The hunters vaguely sense their consciousness sinking as though there is no bottom. The hunters hear the song. Coming from right beside them. Coming from inside them. Fuck no! Oh no! IS-3!
Ishar Mala. The hardship we suffer is ever present. The life we thirst for is ever present.
Great. Isharmla is speaking to them now, not just Scotty. Over there, Scotty!
Rosicante! The faint roar comes from above. The thundering roar comes from beside. The stagnant seawater flows again.
The last night is here, baby!
The infinite ocean could be bound by a cocoon. Then, from where comes the force that can break even the cocoon? Land, moon, the scent of wheat home far away. The force has become legend. It has shattered mountains, death, time, and all that is tangible and intangible. He will not be bound.
It's Rosicante, the seahorse, baby! And the last night. Him too, I guess.
You many alike. From where? Ah! The waves, you built them, you hardened them. Are you turning this to land? Will not allow. Contradiction, wilderness, mountains, rivers, wheat fields, land is just land. I seek, I reproach, I crush.
The one who was with Ulpianus. Ooh, what a pleasure to see you again, Sir Knight.
You not kin. Get him!
Twist their seaborn testicles. Do they even have? Never mind.
Get him!
So that's how they got out of there safely. Saved by the last night in Rosicante. At least this one's not a yapper. Only the angelfish seem to be yappers. Out of the way. No, it was just a silly little guy that wanted to assimilate all your DNA. But it was still just a silly little guy. Doña Irini, I've been looking for you. Sorry, I received Consul Clementia's message. Dr. Kelsey's group is headed to the port, but then we lost communications again. You must return to the Eye of Iberia immediately. Inform Lord... I have no idea why I gave Lumen an Iberian accent, but I gave Irene an American accent. You must return to the Eye of Iberia immediately. Inform Lord Carmen and help the Inquisition and Penal Battalion form defense lines. Sounds a lot better. No, we have to wait. Why? Most of the invading... Okay, maybe it's starting to sound Italian now.
I'm not fretophobic!
Most of the invading Seaborn are still under control near the beacon tower. If the unit can be ejected, then Millennium is not yet lost. We can organize a counterattack. But the cultists have sabotaged the linkage to prevent it from being jettisoned. Ah, great. Even more silly little guy. Oh, never mind. The Sea Patrol is already cleaning up the Seaborn in the area. We can't let these slip away either. I'll deal with them. As for whatever this linkage is you're talking about, will your engineering skills help? Probably, maybe. Jordy, it's time to be a hero yet again! Yes! I can fix it! Good. Take the lead on that. I'll protect you and Avitus. We can return to land as soon as we're done. We work together at the Eye of Iberia. Let's pray we could do just as well this time. But these seaborn from the depths are different from the ones I've dealt with on land. I don't know how long I can hold them off. We've said all that needs to be said, Mr. Avitus. Come and help if you still have the strength. All right. Hurry, Jordi! Hurry, Jordi Fontana Rossa!
Hurry, Jordi! I believe in you!
Peak! This event is just peak. Cinema. Kino. Cine. Hold up, take a sip of my water. How is this still only chapter 7? Hold up. Is this... No, it's... How is this still 7? So much has happened. You've warned us through the beacon, and the strange knight who appeared at the lighthouse broke through the shell just as we were about to fall asleep. Is he part of your plan too, Ulpianus?
The madman who's forgotten himself is the enemy of the sea, of everything abnormal that has become normal, and of himself. No one can control someone like that. We just happen to travel together.
They were bros! I mean, I could see it.
Are you the only one to make it back?
They're on their way.
Breaking through the nest shell and returning through tides of seaborn. Your speed was remarkable, but you're too late. You've seen what's happening to Millennium. The many have exploited Aegir, and Millennium will be the stepping stone for their invasion on land.
And what precisely is happening here? The first thing I heard when I arrived at the port is that the Abyssal Hunter Ulpianus had entered the control room of the beacon tower and killed the weapons technology advisor of the waterway program. It's a misunderstanding, Gladia. He was a cultist of the deep. Blandis was a traitor. And indeed, Blandis' body is right behind you. Ulpianus, explain yourself! Come on, we know what happened! You're quiet. I assumed you'd feel more anguish over him.
I take it you figured it out then, judging by your reaction. I doubt we have time to discuss a fallen traitor, even if he was once our fallen comrade.
Okay, there we go. No need for misunderstandings between hunters.
That young man really did it. Linkage has been repaired. Jordi, let's go!
You're trying to eject the beacon tower from Millennium. A wise plan. It seems there's still hope for you.
This place will sink to the ocean floor in a few minutes. Do you smell it? The stench of frenzy. The seaborn above have noticed the changes to the tower. They're seizing the last opportunity to break the blockade and reach the other parts of Millennium. Leave Gladia. Now. I'm Batman.
Come back to Aegir, Ulpianus. This is your last chance.
I still have things to clear up. If I give up now, all my efforts have been for naught. The dreams and end of the prehistoric civilization, where the seaborn came from, where they will go, the calamity before our eyes, the destruction beyond the skies. Being aware of them is not enough to turn the tides. I must learn more.
Bro? Ulpapi knows? Ulpapi knows? Did they actually encounter the Farenmit?
If the seaborn have memories, I must know every last detail of them.
I'm not disputing that. We're back in the ocean, back in Aegir. We'll have many chances to approach the truth.
That is your way, and I don't disapprove. But we need more approaches, more angles in order to maximize our odds of victory. As you've said, I'm on another path now. Will you still try to stop me?
Unless my eyes deceive me, the seaborn I just killed had evolved specifically for you. That doesn't just mean that they're trying to accept you, it means that you also...
Correct.
Then you know well what being inside a rapidly hatching nest would mean for you in your present state. He's not gonna turn!
He's him. He is him. He's not gonna turn. Answer me, Ager. How much of your mind is still your own? Is there still even enough left of you to choose death? It's the only way for me to earn the trust of these scum. You're an outstanding hunter and a learned scientist. Are you really so arrogant to believe that you can control your transformation through willpower alone? Accidents like the one during the auto-adaptive junction surgery will not happen every time. I can't simply watch you walk down the path of destruction. You're at your limit. We're both experts in violence. You'll die if we fought here now. Is that so?
Bro!
Let him go, dog. he wants to go out and be Batman. Let him be Batman. Her lance draws a cold arc through the air. Ulpianus lets loose the chains and his massive anchor flies at Gladia, forcing her to leap up. The sound of the building sinking drowns out the clash of metal. Seawater and Seaborn rush into the control room. Okay, both of them are going down with the control room. In the last moments, Gladia watches her erstwhile colleagues stand before the darkened holographic sea chart, calmly waiting for the colorful waves to swallow him.
Oh, papi, no!
Okay, no one is scared at your death, dog. You're a playable character. You have plot armor. Your description raises many questions. Oh, we're back with Marthas. The feasibility of modifying a Farenmit into a biological arc by leveraging its habit of fostering an independent ecosystem inside its body has already been verified on Talos. Kelsey, that's a lot of words to say. To say what? Modifying a Farenmit into a biological Arknights by leveraging its habit of fostering an independent ecosystem inside its body had already been verified on Talos. First of all, there are Farenmits on Talos? What? Second of all, a Farenmit big enough that it has a whole ecosystem inside of its sleeping body? And then the Farenmit will head straight into space and spread across the universe. Oh, okay. I get it. That's bad. No, we can't let the Seaborn spread. There's already Originium on Talos too. Fuck me, keep the Seaborn here. We have enough problems in Enfield. The technology used by the project was mature. And their complex was deep in the mantle. Energy coming from the heart of the planet could support the facility's operation for almost an eternity. The project had more than sufficient power supply. Why then did the project deep beneath the ocean stagnate, as you put it, and go out of control, releasing innumerable Seaborn? No shot! The Seaborn came from the Farenmit ecosystem, the Farenmit arc that was housing them, that was being studied by the ancients, that was being kept underneath a research facility underneath the sea. That's a lot of words to say that it's all the ancients' fault yet again that the Seaborn exists. Well, shit. Okay, should have just left the big, scary, eldritch-looking creature alone, ancients. The existence of Farenmit was introverted by nature, yet he was to turn all things to nourishment for his survival. He was given meaning that did not belong to him, and a name that did not belong to him. Ishar Malah. Ishar Malah and the Farenmit are one and the same. Okay, things are making sense now. Things are slowly making sense. So the firstborn that Scotty killed infected her with Ishar Malah's blood. If that was also Ishar Malah, and we know that Farenmits can create proxies of themselves, things are fitting into place on the puzzle piece.
The changes they were put to were bolder, wilder, more ambitious, and more despairing. Their nature had long since exceeded the biological arc you speak of.
They evolved? Shit.
For unknown reasons, however, their subsequent actions did not follow the program.
Meaning that the project did not proceed along the planned lines, but the new direction was also interrupted?
Not entirely. They continued to foster new offspring with themselves. But the lives trapped within the Fahrenheit were weak. They evolved too slowly. The new generation needed to be liberated. They needed to leave the Fahrenheit's body, adapt to new environments, and obtain more nutrition. More nutrition to be fed back to the Fahrenheit so that his evolution may be accelerated.
Under normal circumstances, the organisms nurtured within a Fahrenheit are rarely able to venture beyond its body. Yet the aggression the Seaborn have demonstrated outside, the modifications these Fahrenheits have undergone were indeed transformative.
So it was you, Martis, who brought the Seaborn into the ocean and sowed the seeds of calamity.
It was Martis who freed the Seaborn! Well, shit. We found Seaborn Supreme, Seaborn Prime, Patient Zero himself.
Seeds of calamity? No, the offspring were weak and Ager was strong.
And so you wanted them to evolve to feed back to the Fahrenheit.
The seabed was governed by a self-regulating ecosystem. Offspring that devoured the algae fields would be discovered and destroyed before they could proliferate. But Ager should not have been an obstacle. Ager should have provided aid. Fortunately, my influence in human society was still useful.
The Institute of Development Planning had already announced the deaths of the members of the 4th Observation Team of the Mantle Ruins at the time. You came back from the dead just to corrupt our countrymen.
I held no forums, no debates, only few sincere conversations. I helped some discover the problem, and some discover the answer. It was enough that they were willing to give the Seaborn an opportunity. We many will find a way eventually.
The ecological disasters, the fallen cities, the citizens' loss, how many of those were you responsible for? Was it you who cajoled Blandis and the cultists behind him to infiltrate the waterway program and alter our weapon systems? That's a yes.
This so-called Church of the Deep is not a formal organization, at least not in the sea. It needs no guidance, no leader.
Not an organization. You mean you manipulated the people's thoughts and behaviors only using their faith and tenets? How did you implant the ethereal concept of God into them when such absurd ideas were completely absent in Ager?
Civilization could never truly purge the idea of primal worship. It awaits at the end of science, ready to be awakened at a moment's notice. The Ager you will call cultists do not know the truth. Each of them acts according to their own thoughts and ideals. Each faces their own questions and dilemmas. Selfishness and altruism. Flaws and perfection. Nature and civilization. Logic and unreason. The differences in strength and the shackles of form. The limitations of ethics in the future of humanity. A manufactured truth in a beautiful cycle.
It was a scam from the get-go. Doctor, I think we have more sophisticated words than that.
You deceived your followers.
A scam? No. Primal worship originates from the survival instinct. Every thread of thought by every cultist ultimately leads to a single question: how to survive better. Faith, tenets, no, only desire for survival. You struggle for survival too, do you not?
When you preach survival in Ager, did you ever tell them whose survival you were talking about? I mean, the Fahrenmits, yes. Everyone else, not really.
The survival of life itself.
That's vague.
Just as the survival of civilization inevitably involves the destruction of many more, the survival of life inevitably involves the end of many. Many species have gone extinct due to the activity of offspring, while they gathered nutrition for the Fahrenmit. I once recorded the number only to forget it. For the moment Isharmla awakened, it had become meaningless, insignificant number. The birth cries of the newborn, interwoven with the wailing of the dying. Songs brought silence.
Is it me or the heart-like thing that he has in his chest look like the artifact from IS-3? I haven't played IS-3 in a while now. Maybe it is.
You knew the consequences of awakening the firstborn from the very beginning. Disaster for the very entire ocean, for countless species, but you show no remorse whatsoever. You even gave up on recording the number of sacrifices. Was it because you've gone numb after taking so many lives? But numbness is no excuse for your crimes, Martis.
The consul steps forward. Her ceremonial sword is elegant, but the light reflecting off it is chilling, cutting off the sightline of the seaborn gazing towards you. Clementia? It's still looking at me. I'm just a silly little guy. I don't remember being involved with the Kerula Arbor. That was Oracle, whatever they did.
The Saphon Theatrum. You designed the building that inspired so many of our people, myself included. But you stand here now calmly explaining how you pushed Ager into the abyss. I've seen images of you, a gentle meditative observer who has the habit of constantly pushing his large glasses back up his nose. Look at you now. Even the richest of thoughts can only be expressed by the simplistic movements of your cells. You still have your glasses on your neck. Is it to reminisce about old friends whom you have no right to reminisce, or to mock the dead whom you have no right to mock?
She got you there.
If you are Martis the Ager, then I hereby pass judgment upon the fallen. If you are merely seaborn, then we'll skip the formalities.
The organelles surrounding the seaborn expand and parry Clementia's attacks. The ceremonial sword cuts into the shadow of the coral-shaped terminal.
What? You cut off my control of the terminal.
Monster back in action.
Emergency transmission! This is the 10th attempt! The Seaborn have taken over the beacon tower! We cannot stop the conversion! But someone has activated the ejection protocol for that unit! Good job, whoever you are!
Thank Lumen. Thank Ulpapi.
Biosignatures keep soaring in number! The nests are becoming one!
I don't know why I gave you that silly voice, but it needs this entire part of the story needs some levity right now.
Incoming Seaborn Tide! Scope is the entire continental shelf! Repeat! Incoming Seaborn Tide! Scope is entire continental shelf! Emergency transmission! This is the 11th attempt!
That guy sounds like he's screwed. The entire continental shelf is now merging into a large seaborne cluster.
This is Consul Clementia. Citizens of Millennium, heed me. Once the city unit containing the beacon tower has been fully ejected, the rest of the city shall break through the seaborne encirclement and move towards dry land.
Oh! Wait! They're heading towards land! Okay, this is just adding to my suspicions that the home territories that we lost contact with, they're gone. Something tells me Millennium is gonna be the last Aegirian city left. We've had no contact from any of the home territories since the start of this event. They're gone, for sure. Reactivate the linkage mechanism in the city's framework and perform a structural reorganization. Force fields at full power will stop the seaborne tide from setting a single tentacle on land. Legions 8 and 10, along with the Sea Patrol, send all operational warships out on turn to escort the city. May Aegir and our forefathers be with you. You were looking for an opportunity this whole time, Consul of Aegir. You're tough. We too once. No one's gonna take that glaze from you. Oh! The lighthouse! Is anyone still here? Saint Carmen, save us! Is it the Aegir or the Seaborn who are trying to open up the waterway? The readings are off the charts. The endless Seaborn tide is approaching us at the very moment. This is beyond the lighthouse's computational capacity. Su Santidad. I hear ya. Look in front of you. Those deep colors between the sea and the sky are a tide of Seaborn. The wind grows quiet. There is no point in trying to estimate their numbers and scope now. Experience is better than data. I've seen the ocean like this before. The silence! The silence is happening again! Bro, how does anyone get out of this alive? Do you mean the profound silence? Leave the rest to the Penal Battalion and the Inquisitors.
Report! 2 divisions are ready for action. Aegirian drone martrices are helping us fine-tune our defenses.
Aegir.
Sir, the ocean. Something's rising from it. Is that an Aegirian city?
Atlantis is rising, baby! Hey, yo, that's sick! Having sailed for thousands of miles, Millennium rises to the surface of the ocean after casting out its heart. Every inch of it is being reformed, supported by its framework. An invisible force field extends towards the bottom of the sea and the highest reaches of the sky, forming a structure like a great wall. The structure breaks the surface of the ocean, creating a giant wave 100 meters tall. However, on the other side of the city, the real tide has arrived. It is a living wave. Seaborn of various forms have fused with the ocean. The children of the sea are the sea itself. They have even changed the color of the water. The city from the depths and the rolling tides stretch out of this at the same time, colliding, embracing, and ripping at each other's throats. Nature never tires, yet civilization will not stop at its footsteps. Peak! All is quiet. No wind dares to tell of what it sees here and now. This is a crisis event. We've had so many crisis events in the past year. They just keep happening back to back. There was a Witch King's return from the void. And the demons. The demons by the north and the Stargate. Then we have whatever's going on here. The Originium crisis back in London. Bro, this world? Kinda on a ticking clock? Long have you walked the land, Kelsey. The changes in the sky would not have escaped. Wait a minute. We already read this. My bad. 8. That was only chapter 1. Chapter 7. That was long. An hour and a half. Usually chapters are like 45 minutes long. Cuff cuff. Phew, that woman nearly got me. Cassia?
I've been looking for you forever. Where'd you run off earlier? Lucilia? Lucilia, about your dear friend. She's kind of a traitor. What are you doing here, child? The city unit framework needs servicing. It's a standard combat duty. But look at the beacon tower. What happened inside the city? The Seaborn have broken into Millennium. That tower has become one of their nests. Leave this to me. You should get out of here, quick. It's too risky. I'll stay here with you. No need to... Are you hurt? Yes. It must have been the Seaborn as you came over. Wait, no. A scratch like that couldn't be left by a Seaborn? Uh-oh. Did someone attack you? Cuff, cuff. Cuff, 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 cuff. Why are you walking away from her? Wait, why are you pulling out the safety valve? Hey, don't push it! It'll cut off the ground-level self-diagnostic system, and the city framework will stop working. No, you know that way better than I do. Lucilia, you can see what's going on. You've been trying to do this all along, Cassia. Are you with the Church of the Deep? When the Sea Patrol investigated Thule, you deliberately turned them against her. Don't tell me it was you who made her disappear. What's this you put on my neck? What? Oh, it's the same... It's the same grass that they were trying to use to poison Blandis. Longbeard comb-toothed grass. Something my friend in charge of raising roadside... Something made by my friend in charge of raising roadside coral. Don't move. You'll die if its bristles pierce your skin. Quite painfully, if I may add. Now leave this place, child. Once it senses you've gone far enough, it'll fall off by itself. You want to leave, don't you? To be honest, before we became co-workers, I happened to see your assessment at the Institute of Development Planning. You care so much about that data scientist because you've never forgotten that evacuation of Millennium, have you? You watched as the distant lights of the volcano power station went out, surrounded in endless darkness with only strange rumbles and rustling carried to you by the currents. The ocean as it once was. At that very moment, you were the closest to the ocean out of all of Millennium, you standing at the mezzanine of the dome all alone. The IDP assessment was that there was too great of a psychological burden, which is why they agreed to transfer you from the dome system to ground level. Your so-called fear of heights was just a little joke of yours. I'm afraid that you yourself don't even realize what lies deep within your heart. The remaining Seaborn will soon discover that this route is still open. You wouldn't want to meet them again. Go quickly before it's too late. Cassia grips the safety valve and continues to push it. She no longer looks at a joke-loving colleague by her side. The valve stops abruptly, releasing an ear-piercing shriek. She can push it no further. A pair of slender hands are pushing back from the other side. Lucilia. In any other situation, I'd definitely give you a piece of my mind, or stuff this whatever grass into my ink bottle and tell you this sort of practical joke is beneath you. But it's so bright. The light from where the tower sank in, from the dome above us. Every seaborn on the whole continental shelf is rushing towards Millennium, right? Just what is behind those strangely colored lights? You're not wrong, Cassia. The seaborn have eroded away at our lives. I've experienced the truth of that myself, and I'll never forget. I envied Tulia. Our experiences were so familiar. She was always able to protect what she treasured all along. What an amazing woman, really. And look at me. I escaped the dome and got back to the ground. Before you arrived, I was even thinking of escaping from here too. But where would I go? I can't let you break the framework, Cassia. I can't let the Seaborn get into any other Millennium's units, even if the grass thing kills me in the process. Because there's no going back for me. Well, we know she's not gonna die because she has playable character plot armor. I mean, the medium is the message. We're never gonna get any of these
playable character deaths for as long as Arknights wants to sell you on characters. It is what it is. The medium is the message. No one is scared for your death, Lucilia. You're gonna turn out just fine. Laurentina's parents once told me that while the dome may be beautiful, this transparent structure is actually the true eye of the city. In fact, I've been asking myself recently, since we're at war right now, shouldn't the eye be on the lookout for danger? She forces herself to look ahead, the strange colors reflecting in her pupils, the roar of the tides and the whispering of the ocean's progeny resound in her ears. The young Ager presses hard against the safety valve. She does not let go. She dares not to let go. Only once a firm hand presses down on her shoulder, forcing her stiff muscles to relax, does she come back to her senses. Well, Secunda's here. You can let go now, Lucilia. Cassia, she... temporarily paralyzed. I only managed to graze her with my shot, which is why the paralytic took so long to take effect. Sorry for putting you at risk. This is Consul Clementia. Citizens of Millennium, heed me. Once the city's unit containing the beacon tower has been fully ejected, the rest of the city shall break through the seaborne encirclement and move towards dry land. Reactivate the linkage mechanism in the city's framework and perform a structural reorganization. Force fields at full power will stop the seaborne tide from setting a single tentacle on land. Legions 8 and 10, along with the sea patrol, send all operational warships in turn to escort the city. It might be more appropriate if you were the one to handle the report regarding Cassia, Lucilia. I see. I should be heading straight to the port now. The mission just declared by the consul is more urgent. Cassie is already subdued. I'll take her to the doctor first, and then she should be punished. If the city's to undergo structural reorganization, the dome system will be a focal point of the force field to hold off the seaborne. So they could probably use some extra hands up there. Maybe I should submit an urgent application to return to my old post. Girl, you have way too many things on your hands. You're very brave, Lucilia. Oh, so you heard all of that earlier? I did. Before you submit that application, though, you ought to see a doctor yourself. Longbeard comb-tooth grass does in fact contain a potent neurotoxin. Ah, right, I will. Go see a doctor first. Everyone else is gonna handle the catastrophe, the crisis, threatening the seas, Millennium, and also dry land as we know it.
Ramming armor, check. Ship cannon mounts, check. Monitors, check. Camouflage coating, check. Propulsion system, check. All system diagnostics complete. Ready to launch. We'll be heading towards the designated waters at full speed to block the seaborne tide from the north. All weapon system permissions granted. No need to hold back. Don't let them get near Millennium. We'll do everything we can.
You're just part of the first sortie. We'll be sending the rest of our ships into battle after you. You're to escort Millennium in shifts while it's reorganizing, serving as an extension of its Great Wall, and preventing the seaborne from making landfall. So remember, the moment you get the order to change shifts, you must return to resupply immediately.
Understood.
Uh-oh.
Seaborne spotted. The remaining seaborne in the city are attacking the port. Do not let them approach the warship docks.
Oh! Scotty! Kya, Scotty!
Not content with ambushing us in their nest, they made a sneak attack on our city too. How annoying.
Swing! At least this one's not a yapper.
Wrapping around the statue, what, have the seaborne developed a taste for art since entering the city? That said, the Sorrow Drinker is hardly a masterpiece, so I won't feel too bad when I've reduced it to rubble. Honestly, I think it's got more charm with an arm broken off. Thanks for the glowing reviews, Scotty. Are you feeling better now? Yeah, ever since we left the nest. Good to hear.
It's the hunters. The Abyssal Hunters have safely returned to the city.
Swordfish? Captain Gladia, you've met... Yes, I saw him. We've arrived at the right time. You must have heard Secunda's report over the emergency frequency. Infiltrating Millennium, breaking into the Beacon Tower's control room, murdering the weapons technology advisor of the Waterway program, and finally, choosing to return to the ocean with the Seaborn. Ulpianis has not made it easy to clear him of suspicion. To capture him, or even to execute him, is the duty of the Abyssal Hunters. Or even execute him is a duty we Abyssal Hunters must perform in the future. Brother, no one is executing him. He's got plot armor. Captain Gladia. But for the moment, our mission is to search for the remaining Seaborn scattered around the city units, and put every last one of them to the sword. What must be... Oh, great. We're back with this yapper. Great! I'm gonna need more water if I'm gonna keep doing his voice. What must be said, I have said. You've avoided answering the question at the heart of all this, Martis. The question at the heart. From your description, everything that transpired beneath the ruins, the crimes you committed, and the consequences incurred, they all seem to stem from some mysterious inevitability. You keep saying that there's some unknown threat watching over Terra from beyond the veil, from beyond the star pod. What is it? They also mentioned it. They mentioned it in chapter 14. There's something beyond the veil that the ancients were afraid of, which is why they needed Originium to fully develop its assimilation properties or whatever. There's some bigger threat out there in the universe. But the Martis I know was an eccentric yet gifted man. He was doubtful by nature and not one for making arbitrary decisions. Unless, of course, we've already seen the threat, and it's actually just the void. Maybe it's just the void and the demons within. Is that it? Is that what everyone was afraid of? He would not have rashly discarded all reason and played at being the mystic, and he would not have been even less inclined to reject his own existence or ignore the worth of others. The choices I have made, the outcomes I have borne. Why do you care what the past Martis thought before he made his decision? His past choices have made you who you are now. Without understanding his reasoning, we cannot understand your existence. You would care about such trifles as well, Kelsey? I understand now. Of course you would care. How could you not? The human that once ate the strange flesh experienced such struggle too. Was it a day or perhaps several? In the depths of the ruins, time holds no measure. He feared, he doubted, he was compelled to think over every possibility. Where will the next crisis come from? When will it descend upon Terra? He used a lifetime of knowledge to attempt to decipher the indecipherable, to comprehend the incomprehensible. If there exists a life form that could survive the cosmos of Quietus, even if only as a singular being, how would it be born? Given infinite time, even the tiniest fin will be able to type out the ultimate truths of all things on a terminal using its tail. But time was not our most precious resource. Admittedly, the Ferryman before him had foreseen our ruinous prospects, but could he and his progeny continue bearing the torch of life through it all? Supposing they could, before they instinctually iterate a way of overcoming the destruction in limited time, how large a population and how efficient a fecundity would they require? Would they have to consume a patch of sea, a whole planet, an entire star system? How many must die to support their lives? Supposing they could not, then where did the true answer lie? On the other side of the ocean, On the other side of the sky, or perhaps it is somewhere out in the sea of stars, untouched by Terran hands.
He's a yapper! He's a yapper! Holy fuck! Even if you spent your entire life simulating. Huh? IS-3 reference! You would not have been able to obtain a definitive conclusion. The information you possess was simply insufficient to calculate every possibility.
Indeed, Kelsey. The past Martis had no choice but to try. Danger and possibility both hung above his head, while below his feet he found only an unseen tightrope.
You could have informed your country from the start. Aegir would have helped take on your burdens. The oldest records of the Academy of Science could verify the past you saw. The latest inventions of the Academy of Technology could model the future you envisioned.
To cede the choice to others, is that a solution or an escape? The choices of the countless many against the choices of the few, are they more accurate or more ambiguous, more earnest or more capricious? Suppose the means of life to continue is not civilization, and the species that transcends ruin is not humanity. If so, how would Aegir react?
Enough, Martis! If you had thought of every possibility and foresaw the bitter price to pay, then your final decision is even more inexcusable.
No, Aegir, I did not mean to defend my choices. What I wanted to say was that, at the time, there was an immature life form that interrupted my flights of fancy. Its tentacles were minute and its body yet uncoordinated. Beneath its translucent membranes, simple organs could be clearly seen. Born from Isharmla, it had unknowingly crawled past the cabin wall and was licking my ankle happily. Was it unaware of how swiftly its death would come? Did it not know that it was destined to become one of those insignificant dots among the millions of biosignatures on the monitor? Being the progeny of a Fahrenheit, could it have not seen the frightful vision its parents saw? Was it unaware that the destiny of its entire race was only to foretell and greet ruination? It just wriggled calmly towards the foreordained destruction, acting out instinct only. As for us, there are countless possibilities to consider making a decision, countless trade-offs to worry over. We find ourselves unable to ignore the cost of our decisions, or the results of our value and meaning of the results. Humanity is ever a prisoner to itself, ever one step behind fate. This is the essential difference between humanity and the Seaborn. This is why they are suited to bear the duty of continued existence.
Holy fuck, he's a yapper! Is that why you ate the strange flesh? That's why you became like this? That's why you interfered with civilization's evolution?
If there is any life that can survive the future of Quietus, no matter what form it takes, it is worth fighting for, no matter the cost. There is no justice here, only the path ahead. You should understand now why you must help we many evolve.
You are not the first one the Doctor and I have seen who could barely qualify as human, but they all made their hard choices. No one had ever made a choice as horrifying as yours. Before you ate the flesh to become a Seaborn, you had already renounced thinking as a human does. From my perspective, that which you abandoned in your final moments, your doubts, your misgivings, concerns, and struggles, were the most precious of treasures. They're treasures because they're unending. The Seaborn are swallowing Terra's life whole. You have not denied this, nor can you stop it. How are we to see them as our hope?
What is your choice then, Kelsey? To incubate Originium?
Oh, he knows.
The collapsed Stargate, the extinguished sarcophagi of the countless failed plans. Is Originium the only one still in operation?
He knows about everything. Then again, it is common knowledge. Wait, no! How do they know about the sarcophagi? The failed plans? Then again, this is like months, years after Chapter 14?
Stones amidst the land and sky ever salient. They are an incurable disease harming life atop dry land. And yet, they are a plan left by the prehistoric civilization. One expected to save all existence at the very end in ways incomprehensible to the average person.
There it is again. The line of thinking that Originium is some sort of salvation for whatever is coming that's worse.
The stairwell to survival can only be forged in the fires of destruction.
No, such destruction must not happen. Much like Kerula Arbor, Originium at a point turned to the annihilation you speak of. It changed in ways none can understand and none can reverse. And since it has changed, it must now be stopped. Whatever the case, using life to feed life or ruin to beget ruin only serve to remove all meaning from survival.
Kelsey, or rather, MAA-10 from the records. You surprise me. You and I should have arrived at the same conclusion via different paths. No, you should have been even more rational, more decisive. I merely noticed a spark of the prehistoric civilization and took on its mantle. You, however, were born for this task. You held aloft its torch eons before I did. You have kept watch over their distant aspirations and legacies. You have carried out your assigned mission. You witnessed changes. You bore loss. No human could have toiled for as long as you have. But now, has endless life rendered you feeble, Kelsey? Has it turned you human?
She's always been like this. I'm sorry to say, she's always been a yapper. You don't know her that well.
Was it because of this one? Doctor, or rather, Oracle.
Whoa, we don't dead name people here. I have no idea who you're talking about. I'm just a silly little guy. Who the fuck is this Oracle?
Many facilities, many doors, your fingerprints, your face, voice. Within the Kerulan cave, among the ruins, traces of you lie everywhere.
Well, fuck. Oracle once again behind all of our suffering. Oracle, how many threats to humanity were you behind? The Seaborn? Originium?
You have visited the depths of the abyss before.
We have? Fuck me. Okay, you caught us. I just forgot. I'm a silly little guy. I forgot. A pity I don't remember.
I recognized you. I have been speaking with Kelsey until now only because it is more efficient. You must know the truth. Your visitation is sure to have meaning. Perhaps you are able to explain why the project is still at a standstill. But your title is different now. Something has happened to you. Otherwise, Kelsey would have held no doubts about what has happened to the plan.
For several reasons, the Doctor is unable to remember many things about back then.
Memory loss. Unsurprising. Losing one's memory is perhaps the most insignificant sacrifice you could make. Even the most resilient of life cannot withstand the ravages of tens of thousands of years. The fact that you still exist upon Terra is in itself a miracle. What I saw, what he saw, what they saw, those frightful visions are an absolute truth to you. You have lost your proud civilization and homeland. Heaven and earth have lost all color. Time and space have become vast prisons. You have been exiled by despair. You have stopped to rest upon Terra. You have not escaped your fated ruin. All men will perish, all things rendered meaningless. Despite this, you have not stopped fighting for hope. This planet has been forever marked by your resistance, even if those marks are mostly wreckages. I revere you and your cause, you the people of a bygone age.
Oh, a Seaborn acknowledges my past. If that cause involves today's Seaborn, maybe the project stalled because they realized the cost.
Doctor, whether you accept it, deny it, or undecided, it matters not to me. I'm not hoping to win your understanding. I seek not your approval. You and your comrades had planted hope in the depths of the sea. A possibility, a spark. Perhaps you have forgotten it. Perhaps you have renounced it. Perhaps you now stand against it, come what may. Now it is I who tends to this light, and I shall not see it extinguished. The rejection of our flames kindler will not waver the many's resolution. Let's stop trying to prove ourselves. We shall return to reality itself. We sense the oncoming crisis. Perhaps the eye beyond the clouds has caught a glimpse of Terra's exceptionality, a sword hanging above our heads.
Brother, we're still speaking in nouns here. What the hell is it? What the hell is threatening Terra from beyond the veil? Just say it's the demons. Could it be anything else but the demons beyond the void?
Terra is but a cage, trapping countless souls unaware of the truth. Now there is a crack in the bars, a crisis, also an opportunity. Sight, sound, smell, touch, hear, feel, think, the rushing of the ocean waves. Within the cage that is Terra, the children of the sea are the most resilient race. Never have they stopped evolving. You cannot deny we many have become the most magnificent of miracles. They will become the sparks in the wake of the Big Bang, the seeds from which the cosmos will bloom once more. They are the closest to success. Tell me, Kelsey, Doctor, and the Ager, do you now choose humanity, Originium, or the Seaborn?
It is true that a crisis fast approaches. There are still many questions I'm unable to answer, many truths I'm unable to grasp. But this does not imply that life can be reduced to a hollow concept. That would simply erase its original meaning. You consider this a weakness, Martis. You consider it my drive bestowed upon me by this endless life of mine. Life's worth should be determined by the living. Life's meaning should be written by the living. The Seaborn are a calamity that must be stopped. On this, the Doctor and I will not change our positions, and neither will Rhodes Island. Without civilization, how can you speak of survival? She got you there, bastard! She got you there!
Without survival, how can you speak of civilization?
Okay, Uno reverse. This ridiculous debate has gone far enough, Martis. I'm running out of breath! We have excised the disease organ from Millennium. Your kin is in the city are being eliminated as we speak. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on what you've done and share the rest of your secrets with us in prison. Get him, monster! Kill this yapper!
You, Ager, and that ebon monster. It is futile to contain me. You alone, your city alone are not enough to slay me, to slay Isharmala. The city has completed its reorganization. I can imagine how it looks as it bars our current, but we, many, will surpass it. There is no right or wrong here, so let your brief resistance provide our soundest proof. Next, I will arouse the slumbering firstborn. I will lead our kin to the moons. You will become a part of this magnificent cycle, Kelsey, as will you, Doctor. Jesus Christ.
Ooh, back at the lighthouse. Oh my god, I need to pee! You yapped for so long! My fluids bottled up. We're back at the lighthouse. Maestro. Su Santidad, I'm here to make my report.
No need. Ager's already informed us of what transpired beneath the waves. What of Kelsey and the doctor of Rhodes Island?
They're still in the city. We're contacted, sir. This is...
A real-time image of the sea surface, all thanks to Ager's drone matrix projecting directly onto the Great Lighthouse's display. The seaborne tide and the Agerian city both approaching the land. They're less than 10 nautical miles away.
That stirring spray, those intertwined currents, are they all seaborne? Even the color of the seawater has changed. That's only the portion exposed to the surface, the tip of the iceberg. The seaborne took advantage of Ager's landfall. The entire sector of the sea has become their nest.
Ager's defensive perimeter. How long can that transformed city of theirs hold?
I do not know. Have we come to the conclusion that... Oh wait.
Have we come to the conclusion that Ager's waterway program has failed?
All the Ager in Milarium are still fighting as hard as they can.
For the past 2 months, the Penal Battalion has requisitioned all operational vessels along Iberia's coast. They've been on standby in Grand Fire and are now ready to set sail. I will personally lead them to reinforce Ager's defensive perimeter. Together, we will stem the seaborne tide. I'm afraid you won't have much time left to rest, Irini.
Seems not. I saw the Inquisitor's information at the base of the lighthouse earlier.
In the end, Iberia has found itself walking a tightrope with no margin of error. Survival or utter destruction. There are no other paths before us. Should Ager's Great Wall fall, it will be up to us to educate the Seaborn on the significance of land and the price they must pay for desecrating it.
Maestro, Doña Irini! You must stay here, Jardy. The lighthouse will be our final bastion. The Penal Battalion's operations will depend on its signals. Do what you can to keep it going. No, not that. Look out the window. Light. Is that a lighthouse? But we aren't the only operational Eye of Iberia? What's going on? Why are we suddenly receiving so many identical signals? The lighthouses along the submerged coasts, which have sat in silence for more than half a century. They have lit up all at once. Dios mío!
The silent technology of the islanders. What are you responding to?
The lighthouses! They're coming back online! Ah, Ulpapi is back. Of course he didn't die. You're a playable character. Ulpianus hears the rumbling of the city reorganizing above his head as he watches the lightless beacon tower slowly sink into the depths. The building that once supported the grand aspirations of his people is now Seaborn Brood Nest. The old and feeble will use their bodies as nutrients for the next generation. Their journeys will continue with their newborn kin. This is how the Seaborn have always been. They spare nothing in their devotion to their kin and do their utmost to nurture them. Thought brings a brief moment of sickness to Ulpianus. The weight of their great anchor, the weight of the great anchor in his hand stretches to his shoulder. The moment he realizes that he will never be recognized or remembered, he feels more clear-headed than ever. He is yet unable to cut the distinguishing connection between himself and the Seaborn,
but he still has the strength to cut off the tide surging towards the city. Gladio was right. Battling in the rapid proliferating mess might only hasten his assimilation. All that awaits him is death, or worse, to become a gacha character for market consumption. Ulpianus puts all of his might into swinging his anchor. As if able to read his thoughts, the tiny hatchlings gracefully avoid his swing before calmly flickering past the grip of his anchor. He adjusts his breathing, recalculates, and swings once more. Little Poppy, you're not gonna die. No one doubts that you're gonna live through this. An immature life form, freshly hatched, flits across Ulpianus' vision. It flips over gracefully, revealing minute yet precise mechanical structures in its belly for just a moment. Then there are two, then three. The school of newborns linked together into a fine path of light. Light? Freudian slip, illuminating the chaotic waves. Adult seaborn of all shapes crowd around them tightly, directing the currents and protecting them as they swim into the distance. What are you escorting, seaborn? What is it you're protecting? Nutrients, life, kin, and you, Ulpianus. We many together as one. As a former consul of the Academy of Technology, one at the top of his field, Ulpianus is certain that he is not mistaken. The steady flow of wondrous things streaming out of the beacon tower. Are nanomachines once ensconced in there, a history cut off, a dream that died young? As an abyssal hunter, he trusts his senses of smell as much as he does his scientific intuition. Their scent is no different from the seaborn. Wait a minute. The nanomachines that were kept inside the beacon tower, that were developed by Ager to explore the stars, don't have a scent different from the seaborn. Ooh, a little tease to what the seaborn may actually be. Those beacons, dead in the cradle nearly 200 years ago, now thrum with new life. Incubated by the seaborn, they now swim together towards the tidal confluence of the surface. Or maybe it was just the seaborn assimilating with the nanomachines. That's also bad, because the nanomachines were designed specifically to travel space. And now the seaborns have assimilated with them. Oh, okay. Have you not yet given up on these games, Ager, despite your own noose around your neck, or is this still part of your plan? At first there was only a mote of fluorescence, then a flowing line, and after that, an elegant lattice spreading out across the surface of the sea. A path of life. The nanomachines were designed to create a stellar highway. That was their function before Ager had to abandon the project to protect themselves from the seaborn. Ayo? Peak? Billions of nanomachines sway alongside the children of the sea, bobbing up and down on the ocean waves. Their shimmer is minute yet clear, indistinct yet unwavering. The passage of light reflects among the seaborn's bodies. The currents connect every nest scattered across the sea. Seaborns gather together from every corner of the ocean for their excursion onto land, gracefully extending their paths of light. They intertwine with one another. The golden net they weave is like a galaxy strewn across the sea's surface, from Millennium down to the deepest depths of the ocean. The waterway, the network of the ocean, one connecting land and sea, one transcending chaotic space and placid time, bound together with we many. Okay. First of all, peek. Second of all, I need to pee and refill my water and maybe get a snack. Holy fuck. Martis is a yapper. Holy hell. Be right back. I have returned after eating some pandesal. Also refilling my water because, I did not expect these last 4 chapters to be this long and yappy. Was that only before or after? Shit, we still got 2 more. Oh my god, it was only before. Okay. Long way to go. There you are, Consul Clementia. We noticed an extremely unusual biosignature in this Fontheatrum. I'm glad you're unharmed. What's the status of the front line? Legions 8 and 10 alongside the Sea Patrol have been sending out escort ships and alternatively. Words are hard. This is a long ass event. Almost Babel length. As per your orders. The city's reorganization and the force fields are both complete. Millennium is holding against the seaborne tide. Inform every relevant researcher in the city. I need a minute words are hard. Minute by minute breakdown of the situation of the region of sea. We're still being far too passive even with our contingency plan put into motion. Madame Consul, you may want to see what the drone matrix just sent back. These passages of light between the seaborne waterways.
Consul Clementia, we've re-established communication with the home territories. We just got dispatch from the Institute of Scientific Development Planning.
Oh! We're not the last city. There's still some cities in the home territories. Okay. My bad. My bad for doubting the advancedness of Aegirian civilization. They're not gonna get extinguished that easily. Any news from the hunters?
3 of them have returned to Millennium. They're cleaning up the remaining Seaborn in the Eastern City units.
Contact Gladia. Tell her to come meet us immediately. Okay, seems like the crisis in the city has calmed down. What about Martis? Lul Papi. They're gone. Wait. Didn't technically... Martis succeeded. Martis and Blandis succeeded. They made a nest inside the beacon tower. They assimilated with the nanomachines. And now they're making a pathway for all the Seaborn to converge. Oh, wait. We didn't win. Let's go, Kelsey. Doctor. You need to deepen your contact with Jaeger. I'll go with the captain to inform the hunters. Kelsey alone will be enough for diplomacy. I want to go with the hunters. Doctor. That Seaborn left and head east. That Seaborn might run into Scotty. Why are we whispering? You exchange a quick glance with Kelsey. Wait, was Scotty the target all along? Question mark? Madame Consul, the doctor still has some affairs to settle. Very well. Oh. Gladia. The final battle for the waterway program has concluded with Seaborn invasion of Millennium. I require an explanation, Consul Clementia. Gladia. Were any of you harmed? I see you're here too, Kelsey. We had a few unexpected encounters, but nothing we couldn't handle. I believe that as an envoy of Iberia, Dr. Kelsey also requires an explanation. I could use one myself if we're being honest. There is someone who wishes to see you all. Someone higher up on the chain? I thought she was the consul. Little handy. Hologram? Obi-Wan Kenobi, I need your help. The little handy moves to the center of the Pensivarium, its projection module emitting cold motes of light slowly coalescing into a figure of an Aegir woman. She sports a smile under her golden hair. Her eyes are focused on everyone in the room as though she has been waiting for, or perhaps observing them for a long time. Giant woman! New big giant woman! Hello, mother? Consul Horatia. Why ever do you look so fatigued, my little Gladia? Though the transmission efficiency of the waterway is much higher than I anticipated, I fear our simulacra are still unable to transmit my feelings. Otherwise, I'd stroke your hair and give you a nice big hug. Mother? Gladia Mama? No need, you know the risks of doing so. Gladia Mother? The changes on the sea's surface, as well as the sudden appearance of the waterways. Was this your doing? The what? Wait, what? Whether Aegir or Seaborn, we all find ourselves competing over time. The Seaborn must keep sending nutrients to every region of the sea they conquer. They wish to quickly transform the entire continental shelf into one great nest. Every issue has two sides. This disaster has also blessed us with bioenergy beyond measure. More than 2 centuries ago, the beacon launcher would have required a dozen cities' bioenergy systems to continually fabricate the nanomachines comprising the waterways. Wait. It was by design? Wait a minute. You puppeteered this so that the Seaborn would assimilate with the inactive nanomachines? Because everyone was cut off. They used to power those nanomachines with thermal power, but the plants are inaccessible because they're Seaborn nests. So you had the Seaborn assimilate with them so that they could assume function? Now those nanomachines are being fostered by the Seaborn, who regard them as harmless kin. What is this intrigue? What's going on? Using the data flow between the nanomachines as a medium, fleets and cities in the squeezed state could traverse the oceans in an instant. Wait a minute, wait. Though these machines cannot take Aegir to the stars as our forebears imagined, they are more than enough to carve a path of life for civilization in its time of need. You played everyone? Consul Horatia played everyone, including Blandis, Martus, the Church of the Deep? She used the Seaborn so that they could... Oh, the waterway program is a success. It never involved tunnels, it involved the nanomachines. I'm flabbergasted. That would mean that for the foreseeable future, Aegir will have no choice but to enter into some kind of symbiosis with the Seaborn, using that scum as they in turn use us. Is this another of your so-called games? It is how we will break through this siege. Okay, Blandis was right all along. Wait a minute, Blandis was right? The way out of this was symbiosis with the Seaborn? Then again, the Seaborn are like, we must consume, we must feed nutrients to the firstborn, we must awaken Isharmalai and spread into the stars. But you could also use us as an oceanic highway. But also we must consume. The term waterway, the path ahead for Aegir, is never referred only to pure waters. This was the plan all along. You have always had your doubts about the program, and that is fine. But if that doubt serves only to put you in disarray, then it is useless. As Aegir is determined to open a waterway between sea and land, there is no question that it shall do so. Sure, she kind of a baddie though. I do not doubt your successes, but perhaps there is still room for debate as to your methods. Dr. Kelsey, I presume, Consul Horatia, of the Institute of Scientific Development Planning. It's a pleasure. It pleases me that there are still those on dry land who have inherited the will of the prehistoric civilization, that Aegir is not alone in our duty. I mean, it's kind of pretentious to think that you're the only ones. I am also glad to see that you have begun your discussion with a firm diplomatic stance. Leading question? Sure, we're being diplomatic about it now, after so much death. Then can I take it that you speak for all of terrestrian civilizations and that we can dispense with establishing diplomacy with them one by one? Okay. I can sense the tension in this room between two baddies. Should I really be here? Is it fine for me, a little guy, to be part of this conversation? I need some instant ramen. I too am glad to see Aegir abandon its contentment in isolation and seek out cooperation with the land. But I regret to inform you, Madame Consul, that I do not represent it in its entirety. I merely understand it more than most. That said, I believe what Aegir needs now is exactly a thorough understanding of the terrestrial civilizations. You and I both know that this waterway will not be used only for resisting the Seaborn. Aegir has its eyes on every unnatural existence in these lands. The demons? Orgenium? It is the only means for us to ascertain the intrinsic nature of Terra, and to eliminate the disasters hanging above our heads at the source. And I'm sure you're aware of how such actions will be perceived by the terrestrial nations. That's right, though. Since Terra is mostly a big-ass continent, they could use the pathways to travel all around the continent as fast as possible. Compared to the Seaborn, you would be seen as more of a direct threat. We bear them no ill will, we need not stoop so low.
The cruelest thing we could do is ignore the need of help of other tottering civilizations we meet on the road to settling this crisis. Mama? Mother? Sheesh! Aegirian healthcare, by the way. Average lifespan of an Aegir, 150 years old. Mama's looking great! Of course, we will first help them learn how to walk. Bottlenecks of development, dilemmas of war, barriers of race, clashes of cultures, trends of ideology, changes in the structure of society. Over the millennia, Aegir has grown freely beneath the waves. It has faced every issue a country might face. We wish to share our experiences without reservation. Interesting. Does that include a share of knowledge? Because it's only been, what, a year or two since the Star Pod was revealed in its glory? So, will you share information about the ancients? Star Pod, Stargate? Space? Intergalactic travel? And how would you do so? Using Millennium as our main port, we would send talent and technology ashore to aid the Iberians in revitalizing their home. Fairnets perceive the oncoming crisis far more keenly than humanity. That young one will not shelter Kierag forever. Hey, yo! Bro! Kiera mention? Okay, so now we know how Iberia are gonna get their ships for Thorn's Altar's event. We can aid that nation long trapped in snow in breaking through its developmental barriers in a few short years, so that it may stand equal with its neighbors. Okay, teaser! The Lone Trail 2 Electric Boogaloo, when Nasty is gonna develop the Flying Kazdel City. Thanks for the teaser. We can aid the Sami in purging the demonic corruption permeating every inch of the snow, and restart the abandoned Stargate in the north. They know everything. They know absolutely everything. Enfield? Question mark? Reactivate the Stargate. Ursus, Kazdel. If the flames of war rage, we will calm them. If there are disputes, we will resolve them. Bolivar, Higashi. National unity is but a few fruitful negotiations away. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. This might just be just you being out of touch. Aegir will aid them in every predicament. Aegir will guide them towards the only goal they need. Under the leadership of Aegir, the land and sea will share a common goal. Okay, there it is. What do you mean, leadership of Aegir? Madame Consul, I do not doubt Aegir's sincerity, but I fear your proposals will not have the effect you expect. I'm sure you have the means to bring Kierag up to par with the core nations in a few years. But will dialogues between equals necessarily center around peace and development? Were Ursus's internal problems to be resolved, who is to say they would not bare their fangs once more and attack their neighbors to satisfy their regained appetite? Bolivar's many regimes might reach a consensus under Aegir's pressure, but how will you eradicate the profound, deliberately provoked hostility? She got you there. You're kind of, you're kind of out of touch with any of the land nations. Dr. Kelsey, are you saying that Aegir's efforts to aid the terrestrial nations will only result in the opposite? I am saying that we can establish a more equal and profound cooperative relationship between us. With only your probes, you're unable to understand the civilization's needs. With only your experiences, you are unable to force a nation to skip over its path of development. Before you act, you must learn more. Otherwise, the winds you stir on land may become a great storm you cannot turn a blind eye to. Look, man. Kelsey's cooking. She's cooking her. She knows nothing of the land's troubles. We would be more than happy to hear your suggestions then. On the condition that you do not allow us to be held back by excessive caution and meaningless apprehension. Seeing the gulf between us, between land and sea, I understand that we will need many more discussions before we can make progress. Once the waterway opens, I look forward to meeting you in the flesh, whether on land or in Ager's home territories. I as well, Madame Consul. What about you, Gladia? Do you agree with Dr. Kelsey on this matter? The IDP need not question Rhodes Island's sincere wish for cooperation, nor Dr. Kelsey's ability. I can vouch for both of these. And there are indeed essential differences between Ager and the nations of the land. The land dwellers are short-sighted and clumsy, which makes them frail. Forcibly removing the differences between them would be no different from destroying them. It is truly necessary to show good faith. Listen to your daughter, ma'am! I've never seen Gladia place so much trust in someone, Dr. Kelsey. A feat to be sure. Are you jealous? Perhaps she could be a bridge between our peoples and aid us in coming to a consensus. You will see that Ager's plans are no mere idle prater. Now, do allow me a moment with Consul Clementia. Okay, big mommy behind everything.
Secunda, a fleet approaches from the land.
Iberia. Hail them via the drone matrix. This is Prefecta Segunda of the Militarium Sea Patrol. Who is this? Jordi or Irini? It's me. Irini? Okay. Wrong. 50-50. I'm sorry. We're currently in a head-on battle against the Seaborn. Don't come any closer. Your ships are too crude. I'm sorry, but they may just get sucked into the eddies around Millennium. You're saying that Iberia should just wait quietly on land? That I should just watch Millennium get invaded by Seaborn and let the waterway transform into some kind of god knows what that even you, Ager, never foresaw? We've already talked about this, Segunda. I'll be there in 5 minutes. You can't stop her. Halt all attacks. If we're going to pick up the Iberians, we'll just have to open the access channels to the rear. Why stop attacking? Look at the screen. The Academy of Technology just sent an urgent communique. This. What do we do? Are those light-emitting nanomachine components from the waterway? But the Seaborn are still attacking the city. If they fuse with the nanomachines and bear identical biosignatures, our weapons won't be able to locate and attack the Seaborn only. Don't tell me the Legions want us to halt our covering fire and rely only on Millennium's force fields to hold them back? May as well slit our throats and be done with it. Scribbling on your device again. You know, sometimes I really admire your ability to keep a cool head. Use the images from the drone matrix to render a 3D model.
Rendering in progress.
Perhaps the answer lies within the riddle itself. The biosignatures of the nanomachines and the Seaborn are identical, but we still know clearly that the nanomachines have formed the waterway. How? We can see them! Each machine emits a particular light that's clearly visible. Contact the Academy of Technology and tell them we have a proposal for modifying our weapons targeting systems. But recalibrating 2 legions worth of auxiliary optical systems would take a lot of our time. What about using a lighthouse on land? What? Irini! It seems we arrived in the nick of time. A dozen or so lighthouses on the lost coastline have resumed operation. They're responding to your waterway. Combined, they should be enough to illuminate this entire patch of sea. Maybe they could serve as your auxiliary optical systems? I'm hardly an engineer, but these lighthouses were built with Agerian technology. They should be compatible with your existing systems. That should cut the time needed in half. I'll let Consul Clementia know. Thank you, Irini. The Inquisition would be overjoyed to see these newly unclouded eyes become part of its combined defenses of land and sea. We're partners now, Segunda. Though maybe we should be thanking Breugen instead. Breugen. He truly dedicated himself to these lighthouses. A naval architect drifting into a foreign land, striving for the day when land and sea could work together. He foresaw calamity but left no answers behind. It's a pity that Aegir saw him as an outsider, while Iberian never truly accepted him. He died alone and miserable, but now his plans will finally have a chance to become reality. We acted far slower than he did. Indeed. But it's not too late, or rather, now is precisely the time. Let's get started, Irini. Somehow, things are still going. I'm still more used to you with your veil on, Horatia. Did you show off the scar below your ear to let Gladian know, as her mother, you will tolerate her setbacks just as you accept the blemish she left on your face?
Oh! Oh!
Huh, I'm not that strict of a mother. With her left hand on the astrolabe, Horatia's right hand slowly strokes her cheek below her right ear, where a thin scar stretches upward, nearly touching her eye. There's a smile on her face. But this is no blemish. It's beautiful. Trivial for a doctor to erase, but I refuse. My little Gladia was barely 5 at the time. She was taking her first career development assessment, and through this she made her wishes rather clear. You don't know how glad I am to see her grown. She's certainly more suited for the life of a legionnaire than the Institute of Societal Programs or Institute of Scientific Development Planning like you expected. No matter, whatever field she joins, she is sure to excel. She was born for Aegir. I remember when she was 2, the Institute of Incubation said your disposition and the nature of your work made you ill-suited to raise her, and suggested you place her in their care. They said the same when I first decided to raise her myself. Saying that again 2 years later would not change my mind. But what truly pleased me was seeing young Gladia rejected as well. I wouldn't say you two have best bond as mother and daughter, but you do have an odd kind of rapport. Alright, that's enough. My little manta ray, I suspect we have more pressing matters to discuss than reminiscing about my daughter. Can you please not call me that? Very well, Consul Clementia. While we spoke, every city in the home territories has been conducting an unprecedented investigation into the Church of the Deep. As the core of R&D, Blandis was able to tamper with Class 4 weapons, but his actions should absolutely have been detected at some point before they were put to use. Consul Clementia, you are on the stand. Explain yourself. Meaning there are many behind him fanning the flames. All members of both academies who had anything to do with the weapons design, manufacture, and maintenance are receiving the most thorough investigations possible. In response, the Church has brought their full influence to bear. By grasping at a single leaf, we may be able to pull out an entire rotten branch. And with Martis, no doubt we will be able to identify the Church's deepest roots. Aegir itself is undergoing a grand surgery. Surgery to cut out a festering tumor, isn't it? The waterway is open, and the fallen who corrupt our nation have been revealed. Both are of great value as I see it. Are you trying to console me over the superficial waterway program's failure? To tell me that the sacrifices Millennium made were not without meaning? Why do you insist on double negatives? They make you seem weak. There is no such thing as a superficial program in Aegir, Consul Clementia. If the IDP had approved of the program, it means its planning and its members are entrusted with the hopes of Aegir. We believed you were capable of using the Class 4 weaponry to purify our waters and open the waterway. This has always been an official part of the program. Yet it failed. The theoretical success rate of oceanic purification was never high. However, the waterway program was a guaranteed success. Did I not promise you that before you set off? Trust in me. Trust in Aegir. I mean, you just didn't explain how it would be a success. By integrating the Seaborn into the waterway. I don't doubt it even if this city were to sink, co-signing all 10,000 1,000 or so Aegir souls in it to the depths, the waterway program would still open without a hitch. However, of all the possibilities you've accounted for, how many call for sacrifice? How I wish this meeting of ours never had to happen, Horatia. Is that why you've worked yourself to the bone, my little manta ray? You've read reports on Millennium. As consul for the entire city, you need not throw yourself into each and every little affair. The stimulants you abuse will not hide the exhaustion on your face. You really have thought of everything, as you always do, Horatia. All these losses and sacrifices, the falls and the betrayals, even Martus's secret. Are you not the least bit shaken? Speaking of Martus, you've reminded me of something. Of what? Martus regards himself as a gardener of sin. At times like these, he is wont to hide himself behind history. I can infer why he'd seek cooperation from Dr. Kelsey, but from the way you describe it, those discussions quickly devolved into vapid declarations of war. I find it difficult to imagine he would be satisfied with such a failure of negotiations. That is, unless he gains some other information. We will continue to track his whereabouts. Are you hiding something, my little manta ray?
Are you? Clementia does not answer. She instead raises her head to look at Horatia, face to face. With the simulacrum erasing the distance between them, she knows that Horatia will be able to see every detail of her expression. But the curve of Horatia's lips do not change. Her eyes are as gentle as ever too. Clementia hopes that her own expression is as firm as hers. I am still the chief designer of warfare on the waterway program before you arrive, Horatia. Naturally. Your calculations may have arrived at the correct outcome, but I had to handle the situation in my own way. The Academy of Science and the Academy of Technology each have their own duties. Yes, of course. I only hope that this obsession with self-reflection will not cause any more complications. Your keen judgment must stay unclouded. I won't let that happen. Here, come a little closer. We still have some time. Kelsey, Rhodes Island, Iberia, the Inquisition. You'll be busier than ever soon, so best not to keep frowning like that. She's kinda scary. She's kinda scary. What? There's still Seaborn in the city? I thought these little guys got wiped out. Nope, they're just chilling. They didn't leave with Martus? Or the beacon? Never mind. They're being wiped out. Trying to run? Smart. Your kin are behind this wall. A lot of them. It's the end of the road for you, though. What a pity. Swing! Isharmla. Oh, right. Surely Martus is not here for her, right? Is this why the doctor needed to head straight to Scotty? Isharmla. A sudden voice, tinged with surprise. Scotty turns, looking towards its source. A conical creature exuding light leaves the shadows of the buildings, shielding the two-cornered Seaborn with its body. Ah, there's Martus. Leave, kin. Through the eddy ahead, return to the sea. You're so honestly gentle with them. Disgusting. I'm guessing you're the leader. Our meeting was preordained, Isharmla. Huh. You know me. Scotty grips her sword tightly. Isharmla. From Salviento to Gran Faro, from the Stultifera to here, you scum have been watching me this whole time. What, do you see your god in me too? Are you here for family or revenge? No. Isharmla, Skadi, you are not nutrients to complete the cycle. You are its end.
Our kin will not prey on you. On the contrary, they respect you, protect you. They await your transformation. They await your evolution.
And we could hear Scotty's song in the background. Ah!
No! IS-3!
Scotty looks at the being's eye. Bro!
Bro!
They're playing Scotty's song! Scotty looks at the being's eye. For whatever reason, the monster she has never seen before seems familiar. Very familiar. The bizarre organs surrounding the Seaborn disperse and surround her in turn. A shimmering umbilical cord connects her body with the Seaborn. Scotty suddenly remembers when she faced the first Seaborn to talk in that cave below the church. She also experienced a moment of distraction back then. She had just been through a fierce battle, her blood boiling with frenzy, but now she feels herself uncontrollably responding to the Seaborn's touch. She curses herself for this moment of distraction. Why?
A natural phenomena. One I am also helpless to resist. This is the answer, Skadi. I ate of his flesh, and he lives within you. You are he. I am he. Our hearts connected, our blood interlinked. You need not waver. You need not doubt. The kin will not demand you walk with us. Isharmla chose you to continue his life. Perhaps this is the only way he will witness what he must witness. Travel the road he must travel. What did he see in you? Perhaps, could it be, Skadi, that in that cold, dark future, in the cosmos where all things are doomed to fade away, you are the one hope, the spark, the possibility? Are you the one who bears the final wishes of untold lives?
Scotty! Doctor? Scotty swings her sword, her grip never once relaxed. It slices through the umbilical cord. She stares coldly at the creature before her. Swing! Figured you'd be here.
Doctor, Skadi, you know each other.
Is that so strange? We met on land. The first choice is cringe. It's cringe self-insert bullshit. No thanks, fuck that.
The nuclei within its chest pulses.
This is the first time something stirs the peace within the Seaborn's chest. The oddly colored nuclei, along with the bizarre organs floating by their side, begin to wave as rhythmically as the tides. It does not approach, but both you and Scotty can sense a burst of emotion, joy.
No matter if you personally took part, Doctor. No matter if what took place in the Cerulean Cave had aught to do with you. After countless years, you now stand alongside Isharmla. The connection between you and the kin cannot be erased. It is you who wrote this instinct into our memories. We depend on one another.
Of course Oracle did that. No fucking shit, it was Oracle who wrote the Seaborn program.
The wheel of fate still turns. The surviving successors will one day meet and achieve the most improbable of possibilities.
The hardship we suffer is ever present. The life we thirst for is ever present. I await you at the end point of evolution, Doctor. Scotty, I await you both. Okay, there we go. He's gone. For now, the Seaborn arc still has ways to continue. Don't give chase, Scotty. I couldn't understand that thing at all. What was it talking about? Some kind of declaration of war. Didn't sound like that to me. Oh my god. Bro. They're finally using the chill music that we have at the end of events. It's over. The guitar strings are strumming. Didn't sound like that to me. You woke me up just now, Doctor. When I was face to face with that Seaborn, I remembered something I felt back in Salviento. I suppose you weren't a fan. I hated it. What good could come from a Seaborn rambling to a human? You didn't want to listen, did you? Of course not. I have no interest in chatting with a Seaborn. That thing sounded like it'd been looking for you. It's a long story. So, we were both being watched? It'll be you waking me up next time. Don't worry, Doctor. I'm Scotty. Abyssal Hunter Scotty. Rhodes Island Operator Scotty. Always have been. We're not gonna let you turn into a Sharmla! We're not letting IS-3 come to pass! Doesn't matter if that thing comes looking for me or you. I'll cut its vocal cords before it can speak. Thank fuck! Scotty, it's a yapper! That's gotta be the first thing that we do! Remember who you are, and it'll work out. The tide's coming in, outside these walls. Sounds like it won't stop for a long while. Where's Spectre, though? Spectre! Ooh, still handy. What are you up to? What the fuck? Someone was watching. Someone was watching! Consul Clementia. Consul Horatia. Oh, thank fuck there's no story here. There's only one chapter left. Finally. I didn't expect this event to be as long as Babel. Holy hell. The Stray and the Companion. Kindred spirits tread divergent paths. Adversaries walk together. What? Okay, we're back to the recording of the ancient couple. You really mean to return? I finally found out that man's whereabouts. No matter who he is or what Vulpo hole he's decided to hide himself in, he hurt our daughter. He needs to pay. Wait, Vulpo hole? Then let me come with you. I don't care if it's a family standing in our way, cruel catastrophes, endless tides, or fire raining from the skies. We'll face them together. Wait. Who is this? Oh! It's Suzerain's parents! Oh, it's Suzu Mama! It's Vulpes Folia! And her husband, the shrine keeper in Hingashi. Relax. If it's just killing a few people, it's long past time for those bastards to head to hell. Then it seems we must part once more. Heavens drink their fill, sky bested by Sakura. Drunken clouds stumble. Was that a haiku? It's got a good rhythm, perfectly suited for reciting while swinging a sword. Why are we getting a Suzumama tease? Right here and now. Whoa! We're in Zarakuza? Hey, yo! The hell, man? Why are you crying? An assassin gets revenge for her daughter by crossing too big family, so she's forced to flee to a different country.
And many years later, she has to leave behind her gentle husband and re-enter the storm, all for their daughter's sake again. When I think about the people in real life who live like that, I can't help it. The way I see it, the movie should be from her point of view.
Wait, they made Suzerain's life into a movie? I hope I don't gotta remind you that this film's supposed to be our familiar's business card in the new city. Oh, and we're supposed to be reviewing it together. We gotta control how this city looks at our boss and our business. Our boss? Suzu Mama?
I thought you said it was great last time.
Great. That's why that killer lady show up out of nowhere. Cruel catastrophes, endless sighs, fire raining from the skies. Who wrote this crap? Sure, the Colombians spoke to a hole in the sky, but I ain't never heard of no fire raining down. When's it supposed to take place anyway?
When are you gonna learn to have a little bit of perspective? A cold-blooded killer putting down her blade for a peaceful tomorrow in Nova Volsini, all thanks to our familia's influence. You can't get more with the times than that.
Oh. Oh. Suzumama is settling down in Texas's newfound city? The city without the familia. Wait a minute, why are you guys here? The city's not supposed to be run by the families. If you put it that way. The film's even more crap, but you're right. As long as it's to the Senora's liking. Uh-oh. Hey! Which bastard touched a switch? Are we under attack?
No, look at the screen.
Huh? Huh? Nasty! Ah! It's time. It is time. Lone Trail 2 Electric Boogaloo. Nasty at the helm. Tin Man. We have a press conference starting soon, so please keep it quick. While you were all busy flinging all those things into the sky, I made a few rounds in Kazdil. You know how I feel about this. I do, young Banshee. I do. My verdict is that they feel about you as much as you still feel about them. Considering the many vile connections they have across Terra, if they do decide to get behind your project, there will be plenty of headaches for all involved. Thanks for the tip. Now, the press conference is about to begin. Don't be so hasty. Let me finish. Nasty Lunare, Director of Engineering at Ride Lab. You know full well that that dream you were promised can be shared with more than just the Sarkaz. The Maylander Foundation will pledge its full support towards you and your elf friend's brazen plan. Maybe I should give him a more suave voice. It is a Tin Man we're talking about after all. Well, we will decide on a date, discuss the details later. That includes future launch plans, where we hope to reestablish a more complete Galeria Stellaria. Yes, that's the one. Now maybe the gritty detective voice is more fitting. Nasty, you on the phone? Once the conference is over, we'll need a meeting room, coffee machine, and to clear an entire weekend off our schedule. That bad, huh? If only it were as simple as good or bad. But first, the conference. Is Silence here? I was hoping she'd stop by, but fat chance she's got the time. I put one of those Burn and Beast blind boxes from Kerrig on her desk, and sure she'd opened it after a week, but the little beastie was already buried under an avalanche of files in need of review. The guy who's supposed to be making a speech for us isn't here either. Well, he's still got 2 minutes. Oh my god. Ferdinand! Ladies and gentlemen, the press conference is about to begin. Please quiet down. I'll be happy to answer any and all relevant questions during the Q&A segment. This slimy bastard. Sounds like he's in a good mood. Let us first. Oh. I think Ager is about to make an announcement to all on Terra. Wow, they could just contact every single nation's communication lines. Playing the same trick twice, doesn't it get old? No, Ferdinand's confused too. This wasn't part of the plan, this is... The challenges we face are far greater than ourselves or catastrophes. We must form a community. Under the leadership of Ager, to overcome them together. Oh, fuck. She didn't listen to Kelsey. Bro! You should have vetted this speech with Kelsey! This is gonna... Leadership of Ager, okay. This is gonna produce some spicy effects. Repeat. An Ager broadcast to all surface-dwelling peoples. We ask all of humanity to set aside your conflicts and prejudices and join the Ager in building a bulwark together. Easier said than done. The Matrix has broken through the blockade and swept past the sea. Essential information and calculation results are about to make landfall. The challenges we face are far greater than ourselves or catastrophes. We must form a community. Under the leadership of Ager to overcome them together. Under the leadership of Ager. You're still looking towards the land, Dr. Kelsey. Like a mother, anxious about the child she had to leave behind. A child, is it? In one brief communication, you have delivered knowledge that countless others have given their lives for to no avail. Geographical data on the foreign hotlands and Infi Icefield, images from even further north of the continent. One way of showing goodwill, I suppose. Now everyone knows! The world of Terra is now in a new era. Everyone knows now. They're sharing the information. To share knowledge is natural, while showing goodwill takes intention. I fail to see how the two are related. It was essential to thoroughly evaluate the extent of shock this would be to our terrestrial friends. For these not urgent times, we really should have been more cautious. Imagine being Magellan and the crew heading into the Infi ice fields, them coming back and being like, guys, we discovered the Stargate. And then a communication happening shortly after, hey, these exist, by the way, we've always known. What was that? There are immediate dangers more worthy of our attention. How much longer do you believe Millennium can hold Consul Clementia? With our fleets taking shifts, we can't keep up continuous 24-hour covering fire for a week. There have been no major changes in Seaborn's movements, as the energy supplying the force fields dry up, and the stopping power of our weapons will also gradually dwindle, but this is not outside of our expectations. The city can hold for another half month, no more. How long will it take reinforcements to arrive from the home territories? A week. Our countless nanomachines have established steady information flows. Compressed fleets and cities can speed through them, traversing the oceans in an instant. However, assembling our forces will still take time. A week. How quick. You need not hide your worries, Dr. Kelsey. There are essential differences between the ways we and the Landwalkers think. Simple sincerity is insufficient for reaching effective bilateral cooperation. On the other hand, we hope the reinforcements will arrive as soon as possible. On the other, you worry that the subsequent contact and communications will be outside of your control. You even worry that Scotty and the Doctor have deviated from your plans. You already know of Scotty's secret then. My little handy happened to record a chance meeting between Scotty, the Doctor, and Martis on the street corner. Compared to discovering the secrets of their identities, controlling who knows what is much more difficult. An abyssal hunter with a firstborn within her, and a predecessor scientist who witnessed the rise and fall of the prehistoric civilization in person. They are both of great import to Ape. Based on simple evolutionary logic, the firstborn would not have chosen to entrust their future of its kin to its killer.
We still have no idea how the Seaborn will become the final answer to resisting ruination. Even with missing memories, the Doctor still bears that mission. How will this so-called death of all things come about? And what can Terra do about it? We must find out. Scotty and the Doctor are, without a doubt, the key to Ager's solving of the riddles. Scotty will face her blood. The Doctor's duties will be fulfilled. But it should be by their choice, not somebody else's scheme. I fear that once Ager learns of their identities, it will devise ways to exploit them. Horatia asked me earlier if I was hiding something from her. And how did you know the answer, Madame Consul? No need to worry. She doesn't know yet. You truly treasure Scotty and the Doctor, don't you? Even when confronted with a disaster threatening to wipe out civilization, you still wish to respect their choices. But this is no time for us to hesitate. I can't hide this from Horatia forever. I presume you have a plan then, considering you're hiding this from her at all. I've reached an agreement with Gladia. We will take over all Abyssal Hunter-related research in the name of the Legions and ensure that the Hunters will not be put in circumstances depriving them of a choice.
Hey, yo! Which means Ambriana coming soon to the Abyssal Hunter program. They're gonna start it back up.
As for the Doctor and myself, we hope to go deeper into the Ager home territories and solve these mysteries by ourselves.
Yo! We're going deeper?
I fear that we will need an Agerian guide. Well then, it would be my pleasure.
Oh my god. The intrigue. It's only just the beginning. Also, big threat outside of Terra, seemingly threatening everything in existence, which is why the ancients were wiped out and put all their bets on Originium somehow, somewhere. Which is why the Seaborn want to survive the coming of the end, whatever that is. There's still that to think about.
Cassie will receive the punishment she deserves. Millennium's incubation chamber has been moved to safety. So as long as the city doesn't fall, the child she left behind will be born safely. They'll be raised in the Institute of Incubation. I know what you're thinking. The fate of the Church of the Deep Cultist isn't worth calling you over for. You still think that everything will end in ruin, Mr. Avitus. I still believe in history. Once written, it can never be changed. Even a tragic victory is destined to be another page in his annals. I'm glad to hear you say that. Let's get down to business, Jordy. I met with Consul Clementia. I confessed everything that I was thinking, what I did, what I saw but never spoke of. I accepted the tribunal's interrogation, but they did not believe I deserved to be labeled fallen. I had stood at the precipice and looked around, perhaps even stuck a toe over the edge, but no more than that. Their final verdict was that I could keep my post and continue to stay in Malarium. It sounds like you have other plans, though. They may see it as repentance, but I cannot forget the outcome of my silence and inaction. I'm not arrogant enough to believe I could have affected an entire military campaign on my own, but what if I had reported Castia's unusual behavior? This could have played out very differently. And so, I plan to leave Malarium. To where? The Aegirian home territories? Somewhere even further than that. Even further. Now that the waterway is opened, Aegir is about to restart the work interrupted by the Seaborn.
Space travel? Oh my god! Are we gonna see you in Lone Trail 2 Electric Boogaloo, Avitus? Are you gonna work with Nasty? Oh! You gonna join Rhine Labs?
Expeditionary fleets will once more explore the far side of Terra, but this time, we have changed the course of our voyage. We might set off from that mining nation of Rimbilton and try to touch the edge of the sea. Better I die on some expedition into the unknown than wallow here in sorrow, self-reproach and despair until it saps me of all my strength.
No, Avitus! Go to Rhine Lab!
There, whether we go forwards or downwards, no one knows what awaits us. We will be like Bruggen in times of yore, pushing back against the darkness of ignorance. You mean... You caught on, Jordi Fontanarosa. I'm inviting you to join us on this distant voyage. I'm not the only one who desires this. You said earlier that I'd never answered your questions properly. You were right, and I should apologize, but there was something I truly wish to tell you back then. We have no need to prove our place. Even if the vestiges of the past have worn you down to nothing, you can still tie your future to Ager. I don't know what to say. This is all too much. Don't worry. Ager respects the choices of all its citizens. We farewell on your carefully considered departure. We await your eventual return, no matter how long it may take. Is this expedition the same one they're gonna do in Thorn's event? Or is it different? Maestro, today's maintenance work on the lighthouse should be finished. Is there some sort of issue with the others?
Nah, I'm just here to watch the sea, like you.
I heard from the other Inquisitors that you kept making time to come to the coast, even while we were in Millennium.
Iberia threw a stone into the sea. We were worried it would ferment into an unstoppable wave, but what was even more worrying was that it might sink in silence, with nary a whisper. Fortunately, the stone stirred up the ripples we had hoped for, and Iberia was able to see the circumstances beneath the waves, and in doing so make up its mind. You performed your duties as envoy admirably. If there was ever a time in your life to stand tall with your head held high, now is the time.
Yes, sir. Maestro, I've been thinking about returning to Gran Faro. Going back to the chapel where I used to live with Uncle Thiago.
You should have seen Thiago one last time. We live in an age of regrets. If you see the Inquisition as a source of those regrets, I cannot refute you. If you have things to pack, Irene can come help you.
What? No, that's not what I meant. I'm just thinking of going back to have a look.
In other words, you haven't yet made up your mind.
Yeah. You told me earlier that the Inquisition letting me return to Ager was a test. Am I not?
On the contrary, Jordi, do not mistake bewilderment for momentary hesitation. You have lifted your lantern and clearly seen the fork in the road before you. You are merely weighing your choices before choosing which path to follow. The sea fog is thick, and both routes seem slick with mud, but you are not the one to be criticized for it. Jordi Fontanarosa. If you choose to follow that Agerian scholar into unknown waters, the Inquisition will not stop you. The strength of the waves crashing against the shore will not change because a single clerk leaves or stays. If you choose to stay ashore in Iberia, you will carry responsibilities that are more exhausting than you are used to, but also much more important. Those are the expectations Iberia has for you. The choice is yours.
I understand, Maestro.
By the by, Irene mentioned that you were suffering from severe insomnia these past few days. How was last night?
It remained rather heavily around midnight without a star in the sky. By the crack of dawn, there had been 2 or 3 urgent situations I had to handle. But overall, a rather peaceful night, all things considered. He can sleep soundly now. Do the sea-born dream. Dreams are comprised of thoughts or emotions flaring up as they dissipate, but now I'm nothing more than instinct. Baronmet? Isharmla? Why this scene again? Following the unfathomable passages in the ruins, at the very end, a great beast gently sticks a tentacle to the bulkhead. What is it waiting for? Perhaps. I walk forward, passing through the shadow of the cerulean tree. Till I am before him, I extend a hand.
Oracle? Doctor?
Warning. Deep sleep procedures will commence in 3 minutes. Real-time translation programs will soon shut down. Please provide all necessary instructions as soon as possible. Survive? Isharmla, our shared name, our shared decision. We trust one another. We feel as one, do we not? I will watch over you until the end of my days. No, this person isn't me. Doctor, this isn't my dream, it's Isharmla's memories.
What?
Gah. You have followed me through many nests, Abyssal Hunter.
Ulpapi's not dead. No shock to anyone.
The reinforcements from the home territory is about to arrive. The confrontation between your kin and Aeger's legions will soon intensify. You would choose this moment to depart. Your front lines have already advanced onto land, Seaborn. Why choose to turn back and return to the Abyss? How is this conflict connected to the reawakening of the Firstborn?
Eh?
You are an astute man, Hunter. I merely discovered your existence before the others. You left evidence in Isharmla's body. You are the Church of the Deep's founder. You sought refuge in the shadows to seek traces of me. Only a shadow may merge with a shadow. A most interesting hunter. What do you wish to know? Everything. I know you, Hunter. You are Skadi's comrade. Has Aeger refused your everything? This nation has refused too much, so much that it's dug its own grave. Your schemes are far too obvious. I never intended to hide them. I fell in order to obtain answers. I can tell you all you long to know, Hunter. Regarding my next actions, regarding the sealed passages in the ruins embedded in Terra's mantle, regarding how the other Firstborns will awaken.
Well, shit. More than one Firstborn is awakening. Not just Isharmla.
Regarding Aeger, regarding the next doom to greet Terra. We kin are selfless. We kin are devoted. We kin wish to share everything. The only requirement is that you become one with we many.
Ulpianus meets the Seaborn's gaze. It has no face, but he could tell that it is observing him. Through its transparent membranes, past the faintly leaping nuclei, Ulpianus, Ulpapi, sees his own eyes.
You said you fell earlier. No, Hunter, the conjoining of flesh is not enough. Turn endurance into acceptance. Turn humiliation to elation. You must trust the kin. Trust your own instincts. You must take up a duty far beyond imagination. The duty of we many. Perhaps you will learn the full truth in our embrace, but when the time comes, you will be unwilling to bring it back to Aeger. Just as I could not.
Ulpapi? Are you gonna grow tentacles? The Seaborn passes Ulpianus, swimming even deeper into the nest. Its back quickly disappears from view, leaving only the nest before him in full bloom.
The contaminated coral shimmers in its multitudes, countless fantastical life forms flit between them. Using its glimmer to dispel the darkness and depths, they grow, to form tides. But Ulpianus ignores them. His gaze passes over a golden sea, over every scar, over every inch of flesh, every cell, every chaotic waking dream. It falls somewhere he cannot see, the deepest recesses of his own self. Ulpianus follows along. To where? What will we see? Okay, that's the end. That is the end of Path of Life, but not the end of the Sea Terror, the Seaborn arc of Arknights. Things are getting wilder and wilder. Aegir has revealed themselves to the rest of the world. They are now sharing information which was once kept secret throughout the last 5 years of Arknights. Secrets that we theorized over, but are now gonna be public knowledge to all nations on Terra. The Stargates, the Starpod, the threat looming in the distance somehow beyond the Starpod's veil. The threat which the ancients feared, and why they needed Originium to develop. Something is coming to threaten Terra. Could it just be the Void? Maybe. Most likely, they've been setting up the Void for the past 2 years. We still gotta find Neural's parents somewhere in the Void. Somehow they're there. We gotta save our gothic witch queen mommy. The one that got left behind during Ebenholz's event. Maybe it is the Void. But how are they... The bigger question is, how are things gonna resolve in the window between Arknights as a game and Enfield? Either way, we're gonna make some more speculations tomorrow as we'll react to all the announcements, the beta test announcement, and the new trailer for Arknights Enfield. Same time, same place, tomorrow. And I think that will be that for our story read-through of Path of Life. Thank you to everyone that stopped by throughout this week to watch us react to the story, to use this as second monitor content, and experience the story alongside us. But, until tomorrow, my name is Nez and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, friendos.